Fog between the glass, spending too much and expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's definitely time to replace. If you've put off replacing windows in your home because it's too expensive, here's great news. You can now get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. And right now you could buy one window or door and get one 40% off. Just text OLD to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for $0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for a year. That's right. You don't pay a dime for an entire year. Plus, buy one window or door and get one 40% off. And right now, save an extra $200 off your entire purchase. Text OLD to 200-300 right now. Text OLD to 200-300. Don't wait. Text the word OLD to 200-300. Text OLD to 200-300.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-989-8906 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-989-8906. That's 800-989-8906. What do you have to lose? Call 800-989-8906. Again, 800-989-8906.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
When life gets overwhelming, but you just don't feel like talking, help is only a text away. Trained and caring crisis specialists are available by text 24/7 to assist with suicidal thoughts, substance use issues, depression, anxiety, and more. You are never alone. When you need help, please text HOPE to 4HOPE. From anywhere in Arizona, text the word HOPE to 44673. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
Live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Wednesday here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, not alongside Randy White. I'll explain. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. All right, so here's how this whole week has worked, okay? Sunday was supposed to be the Daytona 500. That is a day where Randy White sits his ass in his easy chair, drinks beer, and does nothing else but watch racing. That's it. That's it. That's the entire plan. And so he got in position and he started doing that. But then the rain came. And when the rain came, there's no race. But he was still in his chair. He's like, well, I'm going to be here. I'll be ready if it starts. And he was very drunk. And so the next day, I was like, well, that's going to be when the Daytona 500 is. So Monday, he wasn't here, sitting in that chair the entire time from the day before. He slept in the chair, drank in the chair, did everything he needs to do. Well, not everything, but he was in the chair. And then the race happens and he watches it and he is good and liquored up and as saucy can be. And then, he's like the next day he wakes up in the chair and he's like, hey, probably still drunk. Today's my birthday. And he continued to drink and sit in the chair and enjoy life from the chair. And today he has the mother of all hangovers. That is pretty much the trajectory of one Randy White. I don't know. Hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. But today he's now in recovery mode from all the chair sitting. All the good times that he originally was trying to keep only into Monday. And it just kind of got out of control on him. So he should be back tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see what happens. Who knows what other misadventure he might have got into today. We will keep an eye on that. But today, by the way, did you know today is National Sticky Bun Day? It's a fun word. Yeah, when the sticky bun was invented, the 18th century. Yeah, the sticky buns were primarily German origins, known as Schnecken. Schnecken. Give me some Schnecken. That sounds like something you ask your wife for, on your birthday. Hey, how about some Schnecken? And of course, like today, I'd be told no, because I'm trying to lose weight. I actually accidentally lost some weight. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, back to this. So then the sticky bun is the great grandfather of the cinnamon roll. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that showed up in 1920s in Sweden. And so anyways, but today is National Sticky Bun Day, and enjoy and I guess observe accordingly. Well, I think I like cinnamon rolls better than I like sticky buns.
Me too. On account of all the cinnamon and sugar.
Well, for me, it's on account of sticky buns sounds really uncomfortable. 888-368-1580. Big George is on the text line, of course. He thinks he's first, but he wasn't. Dick Whiskers was first 20 hours ago, and he said, whoa. I don't know why. He just texted that in randomly, middle of the night. Big George
I have a few
says,
guesses.
wow, the Coyotes play the venerable Toronto Maple Leafs tonight at 7 p.m. at the Mullet Arena. Any chance the Coyotes win to snap their 9-game winning streak? Well, no, it's a 10-game losing streak, by the way. Or does this mean misery continues? Yeah, I'm under the impression that the Toronto Maple Leafs might be kind of good. Was that? I mean, they're better at least in record than the Coyotes.
Yeah, they're not just kind of good. They're really good.
I'm trying not to upset any players who might be listening.
But as long
we've got people from the Coyotes, their spouse that listens to this show, and we've got a bunch of Canadians who listen to the show. I half wonder if the Canadians who text into the show are actually Coyotes players. How's that for a theory?
That is an interesting theory.
It would make sense in a lot of ways, wouldn't it? Because all of a sudden we're just popular in Canada.
Yeah, all of a sudden the Daily Blender is an international show. I
don't even know what the Canadian word is for blender. I'm assuming it's blender.
I'm assuming it's also blender, but
we can't know for sure.
That's true, and I'm not going to go
Canadian.
to Canada and find out. So, guess we'll never know.
Whatever the case, yeah, George, just try to enjoy the game for what it is.
The shot that I will give the Coyotes, and I'm just looking at numbers here, so this is without context of anything, but the Coyotes give up a lot of goals, but so do the Maple Leafs. So there's a chance that if you get ahead, and you shoot well, and also in shooting percentage, the Coyotes are actually the Maple Leafs are 7th, the Coyotes are 8th. So those are the two numbers there that give them a chance. I'm going to ignore the other numbers that make that harder to say.
You realize your advice is just score more points, win the game.
Well, yeah, but
pretty much what it
but my advice is score first, and that'll give you the best chance to score.
You don't think they will if they can't? I mean, they're like,
well, yeah,
strategy where you score last or second.
There's not a strategy where you do that, but if it's more important for you. Like the Maple Leafs are not; they don't need to score first, because scoring is just much easier for them in general. The Coyotes need to make that a point of emphasis. No matter what happens, that first goal that goes in the net better be ours, or we really don't have much of a shot.
Well, I think the point of emphasis should be score early, score often.
Well, but
keep scoring for as long as you can.
Yeah, but who you have versus who you are playing determines how easy that is.
If a coach has a strategy where they're like, eventually score, maybe score a little, then that coach should be fired. It should always be you score, then you score again, and then you score again, and then you score again. And I don't want to hear any excuses from any of you. Go out there and score.
I understand that, but you are playing a team that's better than you. And so in a David and Goliath kind of way, the sense of urgency, because you can score second, and if you're the better team, you're like, all right, cool, we'll just keep on scoring because we're better than you. If you're the worst team, you need every little edge you can get. Draw first blood, man. That's what I think.
So you're saying they should activate the goons? That's a good idea. I like your strategy.
If necessary and possible, man. That's
do it early. Pierre says, hello, guys. I hope you are enjoying the holiday today. National Sticky Monday. One of my favorite things to eat for breakfast. Hey, is Randy back today? No, he's not. He's not. We just talked about it, Pierre. Kenry from Jamaica says, fellas, good hearing y'all. Love rolling sticky buds. I said sticky buns. That's a whole different thing. He says, Jeffrey, best Vegas trip, nonstop scoring. You can take that any way you want, Kenry, I guess. I guess you can. Moist One says, root for the hometown kid, Austin Matthews. Is he on our team?
No,
then we're not going to do that, Moist One. Shut your mouth. Desert Viking says, hey, could you give, please, Anthony Rendon my birthday wishes? Yeah, I was thinking about following in his footsteps. Then I checked my bank account and my fridge, grabbed my lunch pail, and here I am listening to you guys. Happy Wednesday. Yeah, so that's a good point. That is a good point. You may not be enthused about the job you have, but that's the job you have, and you better get to it. And if anybody asks if you are enthused about it, if you're not, you keep your mouth shut about it. You just don't. Manitoban Moose says, I can confirm I cannot confirm or deny the rumor that the Daily Blender is popular amongst the Arizona Coyotes organization. But us Canadians do like your show. It's on the edge. No, it's on the Fanatic. I don't know why you'd say that. Dominic says, I wish I was a hockey player for the Coyotes, but I'm just a Phoenix Suns fan living in a Whitehorse, Yukon. But I might like the Coyotes too. No, you're welcome to. You're welcome to, Dominic. We're not going to tell you how to live your life. We're, always good to have another Phoenix Suns fan with us. And being up there in cold Whitehorse, Yukon, I'm sure seeing what's going on with the Suns down here, does it give you like a warm feeling? Do you live vicariously through? I've been wearing shorts like year round for so long. I mean, Dominic, that's gotta, you got to think about that. Moist One says, did he say he was on the edge? Yeah, I knew these Canadians were gooners.
No. Wow. What? No. What? Moist One, stop it. Please don't look it up. Yeah. Look, Moist One.
How do you know all these things, though, Keon?
Because I was on the internet too early in life, and I'm the exact age where like my parents didn't know how to restrict things yet. So I saw things that I should not have, and I regret.
So you're like an internet Sherpa now.
Yeah.
Do not go this way. Bad things ahead.
Essentially.
Desert Viking says, can't wait for Keon to carry the show again. He sure put the team on his back yesterday. Well, I could go lay down right now. he can carry the hell out of the show for all I care.
What did I carry?
I don't know. You just said you carried the show.
I don't know. I talk a lot, but is that carrying? You put the show together.
I don't know. Don't start that kind of rumor. So there's a thing that how I like the Little Caesars, because you just go over there, you hand them $5 and they're like, here's a pizza, and generally that's a successful transaction and situation. You go in there, you give them like $5-6, and then all of a sudden the thing opens, you grab your pizza and you go off. As long as it's a pepperoni. You can get a pepperoni pretty much instantly at Little Caesars. If it's anything more complicated, you're waiting a moment. Well, now Little Caesars is going to start cutting their pizza sort of like burlap over at Joann Fabrics, or like a line of vinyl over at the Hobby Lobby. Here's what I'm talking about. They're testing a new pizza. It'll be sold by the yard. Pizza by the yard. I don't know how much pizza you fit into the yard, so I'm thinking it's going to be rectangular. It used to be. I don't know if you remember back in the day, Little Caesars used to be a square pizza.
I do. I was a kid, but I remember that. Yeah.
Well, so this, by the yard is, a Detroit style deep dish, 8 slices, 3 meat treat, 8 slices pepperoni, and the slices will be end to end to stretch out to equal 1 yard, which for all of us Americans is 3 feet or 36 inches. And for now, they're only available in Virginia and North Carolina. I'm not sure why, but I will be visiting my mom in North Carolina in May. I'm going to try the pizza by the yard.
You have to let me know how that is.
This is probably going to be me sitting there with an awful lot of leftover pizzas apologizing to my mom. Can you give it to the neighbors? I don't know what to do with it either, Mom. I can take it on the plane and hand it out to people. So here's the thing. They're testing it in Virginia and North Carolina. Why didn't they just release this during the Super Bowl? Test it then and get people excited about it.
Well, I think one of the things with it is, because I used to work at a Domino's. So I just think trying to test something out during the Super Bowl is the worst time. You put something out during the Super Bowl.
It at least.
Okay, advertise it, sure. But Little Caesars they're not big spenders in advertising. Generally.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to drop $7 million on a commercial then. Huh?
No, I don't think so. But yeah, you don't want to test it during the Super Bowl because the demand for pizza is so high that if anything goes wrong, you're just screwed. You just got a bunch of angry people.
I've just been told there's pineapple in my pizza.
Do you like pineapple on your pizza?
No, was my signal going there for a second?
Didn't sound like that to me. No.
Turns out it's your phone. Sorry, my wife just sent me a thing saying she's having internet issues. I thought she meant I was having internet issues and sounding like that.
Yeah, no, not this time. No.
Huh. It's not me, dear. It's you. Anyway, so Haruto says, hello, Mr. Rose, Mr. O'Brien. Hello, Haruto. Can you roll your R's, Keon? I don't know if I've ever heard you do it.
Haruto. I mean, I could do a little bit. Haruto.
Gargle it.
Well, no. I was trying to actually get myself to do it. I can. Haruto.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, Walter Mellon clears it up. My wife was right. God, always. Walter Mellon says, I'm listening on the radio 99.3, and you're a little choppy there with the pineapple, Jeffrey.
Huh.
Okay. So is anybody hearing that issue on 1580? Because then I know who to call. I'm just asking. Somebody can let me know. I appreciate that. 888-368-1580. Baker's Cocky Hen says, FanDuel has a really odd bet today. Will there be a messy pass? I'm not going to read that out loud. He said, what? He said, proof included. All right, well, until you send me that proof, I certainly can't read that word. It's the, it's the one spelled with a U instead of an O. And it's like, come here. Yeah. Hurry Harry says, nope, 1580 coming in clear. All right, so it must be the FM. And I am being told there's no problem on the stream. So if you're listening to it, the FM, maybe that's it. I don't know. Sorry, didn't mean to get into all this just now. So, what were we talking about? Oh, right, pizza by the yard. $20 a yard, though. I don't know how much more pizza you get in a yard than you do, because I can buy 4 pizzas for $20 at Little Caesars, and I think it might equal out to more than a yard. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, you'd almost have to see it side by side. I don't know. I'm having trouble kind of scaling it in my head. How much pizza is 3 yards of pizza?
Yeah, like I said, according to them, a full yard of Detroit style deep dish, 8 slices of 3 meat treat, 8 slices of pepperoni. So it's 16 slices. But then if you, but that's probably big slices. But if you have a couple of round pizzas, there's 8 slices per pizza. But if I buy 4 pizzas, now I got more. I've got 32 slices of pizza. You see, I'm not sure that I'm not sure this is the best deal, but again, it's also different than the regular pizza. This is Detroit style deep dish, which is pretty damn good. So I don't know. I still think I should probably do this just because I can do it if I go to North Carolina, and then maybe I'll hand out slices to some homeless people or something.
Yeah, I mean, just let me know how it goes too, because I want to know what the experience of ordering a yard of pizza is. I have never. This is just new to me in every way.
Feel like you're just walking out with a 3-foot box. That's it.
Yeah, probably.
So I see the betting slip now for Lionel Messi, and this has to do with an anytime assist. But then there is some odd language on there about that, but I can't read it. So, unless you've got FanDuel or something, don't worry about it. 888-368-1580. Hey, do you drink the Starbucks ever? Because that's just so damn expensive. If I drank coffee, I don't know that I would drink Starbucks, because you go there, you get one Starbucks coffee, or you just buy a thing of coffee for $4 or $5 and drink for a month. So I don't understand why people drink Starbucks, but yeah, I'm out with this. Never. I mean, I've had a Starbucks hot chocolate with a couple of espressos in there, or something, like when you're in a pinch and you need a little jolt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Starbucks just debuted a flavor. I don't know if I always say you got to try everything. Might pass on this one.
Oh,
might just be like, you know what? I kind of know where that's going. I'm not going to do it.
Not a fan.
Pork flavored coffee.
No, thank you.
Pork.
I know you didn't
flavored.
ask me, but I'm still saying no, thank you.
I can't, and I'm not going to ask you because you can only get it in China. They did it for the start of the Lunar New Year this month because, quote, eating meat means prosperity in the coming year. It's called the Abundant Year Savory Latte. Coffee and bacon. That's not so weird when you're just having your breakfast, right? Well, but that's not what this is.
Yes, but
this is espresso, steamed milk mixed with pork flavored sauce, normally reserved for Chinese food. Then they top that with more pork sauce and a thin sliver of pork as a garnish. That's
gonna be a no for me. No, thank you. On all of that, I understand that I am not in China. I still want it. I want it on the record because this is. I want my meat to taste like meat, but I would like my coffee to taste like coffee. I don't.
That's what she said. I don't really know. I guess it applies. Yeah,
it applies on some level. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Listen, we got to take a break. Fish Tank says never understood the deep dish. Yeah. Well, I mean, the bread to pizza ratio is just not right. No, you're right about that. But there's some Sicilian pizza that actually works out pretty well. But no, yeah, too much bread ruins two things: a pizza and a pot pie. That's what I got to say. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we got another big upset in the world of NCAA basketball, and we've got a crap ton of random sports stuff to talk about. Come on back, kids. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NBA, the Phoenix Suns start the second half of the season on Thursday night as they take on the Dallas Mavericks. It's a 2-game trip for the Suns, who will also be in Houston to face the Rockets. Phoenix a 3-point underdog on the road, plus 130 on the money line. Dallas minus 154 with the over-under at 244. Also Thursday night, the Golden State Warriors and the Los Angeles Lakers meet in San Francisco. The Warriors a 4.5-point favorite, minus 180 on the money line. Lakers plus 152 with an over-under of 241. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Three little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets. turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Jeffrey O'Brien here, and congratulations. You just made it through the hottest summer in Arizona history. No lie. The only proof you need is in that electric bill. If you don't have solar, I wonder how bad it's going to get next year. You need to call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're a locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 6 to 8 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com. The golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. For years, I've been telling you about refinancing, new home loans, all the great stuff that the Lund Mortgage Team can help you with from start to finish. Now, things have gotten a little crazy, right? The rates were bouncing all over the place. Now they're officially higher than they've been in a long time. And now more than ever, I think it's important to have a mortgage professional that has been there, done that. Any Yahoo can sell you a mortgage when it's 2.75%. Those people are going away. The real professionals are the ones that are staying in business and helping their clients through this kind of tough time out there as far as mortgage rates are concerned. Those people are the Lund Mortgage Team. Matt Oliver, Lisa Lund, they've owned this team for a long time, over 2 decades in the Valley. They are the best in the business, and they will walk you through the process, whether it's refinancing now or probably more importantly, a new home loan. Let them do all the heavy lifting for you. Call today, 623-875-9940. That's 623-875-9940. or online, lundmortgage.com.
Grand Canyon University basketball is back for another exciting season. After advancing to March Madness in 2 of his 3 seasons as the head coach, Bryce Drew brings a team to the court this season, picked to win the conference once again, and led by first-team All-WAC selection Gabe McLaughlin and WAC preseason Player of the Year Ray Harrison. Check out the schedule at gculopes.com to find matchups with San Francisco, DePaul, Liberty, and last year's national championship runner-up, the San Diego State Aztecs. Join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on The Fanatic, the home of Lopes basketball.
Danny Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. George, don't send me crap like that. We're getting ready to talk some serious sports things here. And I'm not clicking on a link that says scientists grow world's first pair of testicles in a lab. I'm not clicking on that link, George. I'm never clicking on that link.
I just feel like all the information you need to know was in right there in the headline.
Yep.
You don't need to click on the link.
They say it could help with infertility. Really? Because no thanks. Yeah. Here, I mean, I understand because there's some people who, a lot of times you have a pet and you kind of their appearance you feel reflects on you. I don't think there's any pet out. I've neutered many dogs, not personally, but had it done, and they're fine. They're they give you a look, and then after that, it's over, and everything is good. And they don't have any issues. But they have this thing called nutticles, and these little plastic fake testicles that you can have inserted into your dog's sack after you get them neutered. So they don't feel bad. So their self-esteem doesn't suffer. I don't think they have a self-esteem to suffer at that point. But so it's more about the owners than it is about the dog itself. The dogs could care less. They're going to lick down there no matter what. They don't care. But sometimes the owner can't handle it. And then they're like, just gotta, it's all about their ego, not the dog's ego. So when you talk about growing the world's first pair of testicles in the lab to help with infertility, I don't know that those things are going to work. You know what I mean? Are you going to grow them in the lab? Are you growing them from the person? You know what? Somebody just give me a paragraph on that, George. I don't need to go click on that. I also don't want that in my search history. Thank you very much. Kenry says, Keon,
Henry.
Definitely love. The college. Yeah, okay, I tried to sell it, but the damn machine's broken.
Like you wait for it and you try and talk around it, and then it
People
always.
Like, oh my God, Jeffrey's being so dramatic with my text. No, I'm not. It's the thinky wheel slowing me down. Says,
you cover it up most of the time.
Definitely love the college hoops dance party. What do you think about U of A's chances to win the whole thing, though?
To win the whole thing, I mean, they've got a really good chance. They've got a good squad, man, and it feels like they were already good, but over the course of the year, they've gotten better.
Well, there's a lot of upsets happening lately.
Yeah, so there's no guarantees. I'm not
They're
guaranteeing
next,
anything,
I hope.
but yeah,
Creighton got up and took down UConn, and that ended their 14-game win streak. So,
yeah, I was watching.
What do you make of all
night.
these upsets, Keon? So, are we going? How long is it going to be before an actual front runner emerges from all this, or is it just all right? It's typical. You're going to have a little upset here and there as you go because these guys are getting tired. I mean, I don't know what the excuses are.
Yeah, there's always going to be ups and downs. Plus, with UConn, I think UConn is still the front runner. Like they got beaten real bad last night, though. It wasn't a close game. I mean, they
almost 20 points,
and that was at around halftime. They were down 20.
85 to 66.
Like, that thing got out of hand very early and very fast. I still think that they're the best team, though. Creighton is really good, and they're a really good shooting team, and that always ends up happening. If you have a bad shooting night and then you play a good shooting team and they don't have just a good shooting night, they have the best possible shooting night, yeah, they're going to beat you. They're going to score more points. And when it comes to shooting from three, Creighton's great at it. And they were 50% from three last night. UConn was 18%, and that's basically all she wrote. And, UConn fell behind, and they tried to shoot their way back into it, and I don't know that ever works. If it's just not falling for you that night, it's just not falling. And so, I don't know if you play this game again, that UConn shoots that poorly and is that flat-footed 2 times in a row.
So, Bobby Hurley's brother, afterwards, sat down and they had the microphones. The only thing he missed in what I'm about to say was this. Hey, Rick, listen to how this works. Hey, Rick Pitino, listen. I do think we did a bad job coaching tonight. Our players did a bad job playing. I did a bad job coaching. Your huddles aren't going to be super energized when you haven't lost in 2+ months. We were definitely stunned. It wasn't the game we expected. We knew this was a dangerous game and a quality opponent and one of the better teams actually in the country. We didn't expect this to happen. That was a perfect paragraph, Rick Pitino. I mean, you learn from how the Hurley does that there,
Yeah, and Doc Rivers could probably learn from that too. It's
Dan Hurley, Doc Rivers.
Take some notes. It's a guy that's taking responsibility for it, and I think that ultimately he's going to, because he is a good coach, he's going to use this to motivate the team. It's good to get embarrassed like this every once in a while in the regular season, so that you don't get embarrassed like that when it matters. And we've seen a ton of teams in college basketball, go through the motions in a first round. We're a first and second seed. We can't lose. And then you get punched in the face. And the next thing you know, you're going home and everybody's laughing at you.
So speaking of being embarrassed, I wonder if embarrassment is what drives this young lady, because she's from Tucson and it's embarrassing. But from Sunnyside High School, there's a gal named Audrey Jimenez, and she just won state in wrestling boys. That's right. She wrestles at 106 pound, and she just went in there, dominated the AIA state championship tournament. And boy, I tell you what, she is something else. She's a good kid too. I saw a video piece with her talking, about her journey, where at first she had to get permission to wrestle boys, and then when she got to the state, they're like, "Well, here you have to wrestle girls." And then, but this year, they went and talked to the AIA, and they're like, "Yeah, why not? She can wrestle the boys, no problem." And then she won the whole damn thing. So that's good for her.
Yeah, and I think there are definitely some sports like wrestling where, as much as strength is involved, like if you're not sound technically,
Well, also the weight class is an equalizer.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
to a
that-
point.
To a point, but like clearly enough of a point that she was able to win it. So, like that, and you factor in that, like, if you're good with your technique and you know what you're doing, you can win. Like the whole point of a lot of martial arts, and wrestling is in this, is to be able to balance out a lot of those disadvantages. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, I knew a kid at Gilbert High School. His name was Doug Geiger back when I was a kid. And, his equalizer was he would fart the entire time he was out there wrestling.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. It was hard. Nobody ever wanted to wrestle him in practice. And then when he went out there, he was ready. He gassed himself into some wins that he should not have had.
Oh, no. Oh, that's terrible. I had my brother, he did jiu-jitsu. And he had this guy that he would fight that he could never beat because he was like, I don't know if this guy ever showers. The BO is just so bad.
That's a strategy.
You didn't want to get anything anywhere near this guy. So you lose. You lose all the time because you're just like...
He probably did that actually on purpose.
Maybe.
So congratulations, though, to Audrey Jimenez. That's pretty cool right there. Winning state is a big enough thing, but winning state against the boys... You go, girl. 888-368-1580. So, all right, back to what we were talking about. Let's talk some NBA basketball. Remember the other day we were talking about the Seattle Supersonics being an expansion team that needs to happen. They got to bring the Supersonics back. Love the Supersonics. And then someplace else, probably Vegas, right? Okay. So let's do that. Well, Kevin Durant is talking because he's always loved the idea. You've heard him talk about this before.
And KD was drafted into Seattle before they moved to OKC. Yeah.
So he knows how the fans are up there, and it's a special place in his heart. And they were asking him, well, if they do this, do you want a piece of this? Do you want to get involved? Now, Durant's reported net worth is $300 million. He could pitch in. But I don't know that he would have enough money by himself to actually get the whole thing going. I don't know how much the buy-in is on a expansion team. I don't know if you have to have $1 billion. I don't know if you have to have 800 million. I don't know what the number would be. I mean, how long has it been since there's been an expansion team? All you can do is look up the last expansion team. Not moved team, but expansion team, and see what it was then and try to adjust for inflation to now. Because I'll tell you what, that number is not 300 million. That number is a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And Kevin Durant could be the cornerstone. I don't know if he could be the majority holder, though.
I don't think so. Not 300 million. I mean, first off, that would be all of the money that he's reportedly worth. And I understand that those things aren't accurate, but they're not so inaccurate.
Use 290 million of this, keep 10 million aside, and still be absolutely fine.
I understand he'll be fine, but in terms of
then he'll get really rich later.
Being a wise investment and all of that, he has money in a lot of different places. To make that liquid is going to be a colossal pain in the ass, I'm sure.
If I win the lottery, there's a 500 million power dollar, right? And then let's say I walk away with 300 million after, which is possible after taxes. But if I had $300 million and I said, honey, we're going to buy into the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Irsay, I got him stoned, and he's going to let me buy in. And I'm going to, well, how much? 290 of our 300 million. But the return is going to be quick, and it's going to be a lot.
And sports franchises are better than gold in that way because they have yet to depreciate. And
my wife would slap me mid-sentence and say, why haven't you signed it yet? That's what she would say. So for Kevin Durant, all right, so let's say he took 290 of those $1 million that he has and put it towards it. That's going to give him a good chunk, not the majority. So somebody else is going to have to slide in there. Maybe he does a group with some other players, with similar amounts of money slid into the middle to make this dream a reality. But whatever the case, having Kevin Durant, you almost have to.
Yeah. And he's business minded. So I know he's going to want to be in that. It's the only other thing that he talks about outside of basketball.
And marijuana.
But even then, he talks about it from the business perspective of it.
Oh, and he enjoys it quite a bit.
The actual enjoying of it.
It's not a dig. It's not a dig at all.
The actual enjoying of it, he keeps to himself. I don't think he talks about it all the time.
We can tell.
Yeah. But in terms of the stuff he talks about, it's basketball and it's business. So, for him, and that's the reason why
he's looking for new experiences in life.
Absolutely. So, he's a pretty adventurous guy. I think he's going to want in on that. I think being, one of the guys that could have been the future of that franchise had they stayed there, also plays a factor into it. I can't see why he wouldn't be involved, because we've seen guys like Magic Johnson get involved in multiple sports teams where he's not the guy that's actually leading the group, but because of who he is, he does get to be one of the faces of it. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And Kevin Durant's going to put some money in. I don't know how much. None of my business. His money is his money. Yeah. But he's going to put probably a nice chunk of his money into something like that, because everybody knows these things don't go down in value.
No, not yet.
You can watch your house
have yet to see it
on Zillow go up and down in value. If you're trying to track something for maybe, I don't know, whatever reason people track those things, it'll show you how much your house goes up and down in value. And if your house on Zillow was an NBA team, it would never, ever go down.
It couldn't happen. The Washington Commanders were useless for 25 years and sold for $6 billion.
Record number.
Yeah. And it's more than Dan Snyder didn't even buy the team for $1 billion.
Like 800 million or something like that.
Yeah, it was really close to $1 billion, but it wasn't quite $1 billion.
Still.
It's sold for $6 billion. And that's a team that's not good, historical, and with a fan base built in. But if you look at it like the Supersonics and their fan base, and the fact that fan base hasn't left, they never wanted to lose their team, they'll be ready to go. And there's already a market there.
I still love that old Dan Snyder. Like, here, take your billions and go be evil somewhere else. I like that.
He's not even in the country anymore, and it's great.
Good. Manitoban Moose says, Jeffrey, you should invest in some of those pickleball clubs. You shut your mouth. Pickleball is not a sport, and I would never, ever, ever. You know why? He says there's good money to be made. It's a fad, and this thing is going to tank. Now, listen, Bitcoin rode the wave for quite some time. Everybody's like, yeah, you got to get in this Bitcoin. I'm like, no, see, because that's going to crash at some point, and a lot of people are going to lose some money. I don't want anything to do with that. And it took longer than I thought, but guess what? It crashed. I just no thank you.
Around the time it was popular and everybody knew about it, you knew a crash was around the corner at that point.
Well, a bunch of salesmen at the radio station were very into that, and that's all they ever talked about. That's how I knew for a fact it was going to crash.
Uh-oh.
But so, yeah, no, pickleball, no thank you. Manitoban Moose, we have determined that is not a sport, and I will never have anything to do with it. Fighting Wampa says the least valuable NBA franchise is the Memphis Grizzlies, and it is valued at $2.4 billion. Would that be a starting point for an expansion team?
Probably, but
I don't know if valuation will be, but it'll be close.
Yeah, I think a valuation probably would be close to that.
The number 2 is in my head for that.
They're going to bid, and
Maybe
then that number will probably go up from 2.
I'm curious.
I can't imagine it stays there.
I'm curious. What would it take to buy in and start an NBA team? $1.5 billion? I don't know. We'll find out maybe soon when we end up with we hope a couple of expansion teams. Excuse me. I don't have a cough button. Anyway, we got to take a break. When we come back, let's talk some more actual NBA stuff. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Did you know that nearly 75% of people say family is their top priority, but only 50% have life insurance? It's not too late to give your loved ones a gift they can count on this month with coverage through SelectQuote. When my husband and I went to SelectQuote.com, we had quotes from multiple carriers in minutes. Then an experienced licensed insurance agent helped us find the right coverage for our budget. I'm 40, and my $500,000 policy was only $16 a month. My husband's also 40, and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. And with their same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Show your love this month by protecting your family's future. Some policies are less than $1 a day.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-6262 or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-6262. 1-800-280-6262. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
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 Babbel, évidemment.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com. Start learning a language today at babbel.com.
Serving on a jury is your constitutional right. So when you get your jury summons in the mail, respond and put your rights to work. It's really that simple. Arizona has increased juror pay. If your company doesn't pay for jury service and you're picked to serve in Superior Court, you will get paid your lost wages up to $300 per day. Our courts are fair because you are there. Learn more at azcourts.gov/jury service. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Supreme Court.
Going to college and not acquiring debt is possible with the help of the U.S. Army. You'll be able to choose the career you want and receive help to pay for your full tuition. There are also reimbursements for student loans and GI Bill benefits. In the U.S. Army, your mission will be to learn. Learn how you can be all you can be at goarmy.com/AIA Sports. That's goarmy.com/AIA Sports.
The most important event in sports could happen at any time.
Like right now.
Or right now. Or even now. Don't miss history. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
Larry Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Now I got people telling me how Bitcoin hasn't crashed.
Well, particular cryptocurrencies absolutely did. Specific ones, maybe not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrencies in general, a lot of them bottomed out.
Oh, yeah, Manitoba Moose and Average Joe are telling me how Bitcoin is moving back up now, and it is nearing an all-time high. And it initially spiked to 30,000, came down to 20,000, but that was years ago. Now it's worth 50,000.
All I know is I've been tracking it because of the, I don't know, I'm 2 seasons removed from the shenanigans involved with Aaron Rodgers giving out $10 worth of Bitcoin to everybody. And I was like, oh, free money. So I got it. It was $10. I didn't have to do anything for it. And so I've just been tracking it. And at one point it was worth $2.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, you told us that. What's it up to now?
I checked during the break. It's up to $8.15.
So still,
yeah. So I don't know if all-time high is the word I would use because it's not worth what I got, what I had when I got it, and it was not at an all-time high then. So it's going back up. So there is that, I guess.
I don't know if I'm not going to trust something I can look for in a computer. I'm just not. I
don't know if that had ever panned into any actual thing worth money. I would have gotten it in money.
Yeah,
like try to time it out and see if I can, ride the wave until right before it goes the other direction, and then I have cash because that's what I trust.
I may not be any more rich now, but I'm not at least any poorer.
Yeah,
for avoiding that mess. Everybody's like, "Oh, you are poor because if you'd invested, you'd have it."
Yeah, but if you had stayed on too long, like any investment, you would have lost money.
Pierre says he heard the ad for Babbel, and he thinks if anybody wants to learn French, he says come to Quebec and Pierre will teach it to you. Only young women aged 18 to 35 can apply. Yeah, I'm not gonna probably give them your information. I'll just have them listen to the Babbel. It's probably the better way to go.
Like more sensible.
Speaking of French weirdness, Victor Wembanyama. It turns out now he is the latest, newest house ambassador for Louis Vuitton, or is it Louis Vuitton?
Louis Vuitton, but yeah, who cares?
Yeah, who cares? That's girl stuff anyway. So Victor Wembanyama, he's that tall, lanky new kid with the San Antonio Spurs, and so what are his responsibilities? First off, didn't know Louis Vuitton was a country that needed an ambassador, and what are his responsibilities as an ambassador of the Louis Vuitton?
I mean, they're being overly fancy with the ambassador. He's their representative, like any athlete that's selling you, soda or or a car, or food, whatever the case might be. That's all he's doing for Louis Vuitton.
So just carrying around a purse for a while. He's like, oh, look, Louis Vuitton right there.
I mean, yeah, I don't know if it's like just purses. I mean, they make suitcases and bags, and
if it says Louis Vuitton, I just think it's some sort of a purse.
Yeah, it's more than that, and I do know that like there is a thing with a lot of athletes, like a lot of younger athletes that have just decided Louis Vuitton, it's expensive, and so I want it, and that's kind of all we got there.
I wonder if them coach purses, only coaches could carry those.
That would make sense, but I don't think that that's the case.
People ought to put me in charge of their ad campaigns. I could sort this for them, but
that there is a really good ad in that they could probably have made already.
Like, put that down. Coach bags are for coaches.
Yeah.
So Victor Wembanyama making some extra money. So there you go. Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
And it's Louis Vuitton money, so I'm sure they're paying him very well.
Sure. Now he's not just a big, tall, lanky basketball playing bastard. He's a rich, lanky basketball playing bastard. Good for him. Speaking of basketball playing bastards, because I don't know how to segue any other way. Klay Thompson. Remember we were talking about Klay Thompson, and he was kind of depressed. He's like, "Oh, I'm not quite what I used to be. I know it. I'm not playing as well. Things aren't going as well." And we were like, "Wow, man, poor guy, Klay. Maybe you got to retire or something." And like the next day, he puts up like 35 points and has a great game coming off the bench. So then we're just like, "Okay, I have no idea what's going on here." Klay Thompson's going to be probably hit and miss, probably still best to keep him coming off the bench. Still thinking maybe, retirement is in the future, but maybe he ought to just go ahead and go off into the sunset as a Golden State Warrior. And so now the hubbub, the rumors out there are that somebody actually wants him. Somebody actually is like, hey, we'll take Klay Thompson. Really? Yeah. You gonna pay him? Yeah. You sure? But what? So it's very confusing, and I'm pretty sure the Golden State Warriors front office is doing the Doc Rivers thing. Are you sure? But they're saying that the Orlando Magic is scouting out, looking at, and talking about maybe picking up Klay Thompson. Yeah. How does that help them really? Because when he's bad, you have seen the bad, and he kind of had a string of bad. And we talked about this. A lot of it had to do with past injuries, and maybe his body just ain't doing for him what it needs to do. But then he pops up and has a 35-point game. So you're like, okay, what is the real situation with Klay Thompson? And is that a player you would want your team to go pursue? Because I got news for you. Yeah, even though he had that little existential crisis where he was just, I don't know. He's still going to cost the Orlando Magic a good chunk of money.
He will, but I can understand why they want to do it. I mean, first off, it's just you need the more stars you have on your team, the better in the NBA. Secondly, I don't think he'll start for them either, to be honest. The Magic are a team that have been building for a while. They have a good nucleus of young players. Paolo Banchero is their best player, but they've gone out and added some pieces to that, Wendell Carter and some other guys.
Well, which pieces are going to go? Because they're already $30 million over the cap.
Yeah, that I'm not sure of, but the reason why they're over the cap is, some other contracts that they maybe have put together that aren't great. So like for them, but the NBA has also got the soft cap too. So like if you are willing to spend over the cap, you can just be over the cap and then just know that the luxury tax is coming to get you. And that's what that is. But I think that Klay Thompson can be a veteran presence on that team. He could be on the second unit of that bench. He'll probably be a bit more important in Orlando if he were to go there, just on the basis of they would be incorporating him into the offense in a way that Golden State is not that they're trying to phase him out, but just by the nature of what he is right now and how inconsistent he can be. Yeah, they're phasing him a little bit out of it. And so like if he wants to be in a position where he can kind of make his own way, that would be a good destination for him. And they're 30-25 right now. They're number one in their division. Like they're headed in the right direction. They're just trying to find somebody who might be able to help maybe put them over the top, make them competitive for, an Eastern Conference semifinals. Not even the finals just yet. Like they're still kind of rolling this thing forward. I think Klay could help you with those things.
Moist One is singing Orlando Magic, but I don't know what this is. Orlando Magic. Is that? Are you trying to sing the it's Magic song? Because that didn't really come through in your text. Or there's some other version of that.
Klay Thompson is making $43 million this season. If he's making half of that next year, I would be shocked.
No, he would be making half of that if he does a 2-year, $48 million deal like the one he turned down with the Warriors.
Yeah, but it just that was the deal he turned down before he started playing like this. So I don't know if the Warriors would offer him that a second time. So that was a mistake.
Pinocchio says, "Are the Kelceys ambassadors of Chunky Soup?" Yes, they are.
Yeah.
He says, "How plebeian."
Okay.
Fair enough. Big George says, "That's what my bullies used to call me. First off, you're 7 damn feet tall. How did you have bullies?" Yeah, he says, "No, Poston Junior High in Mesa. They called me a basketball playing bastard. Thanks for bringing up those repressed memories, Jeffrey."
And then what did you do? Because if you scared the hell out of them, as you should have, because you're a giant, you're not the bullied one.
I feel like the standard procedure right there would be if you're the size of George, you grab one kid and beat the rest of those other kids with that kid, swinging him around like this.
Yeah.
That'd be the way I would do it.
Like I was in middle school going to high school. I was like 5 feet tall. That was bullyable. You, sir, cannot ever have been bullied. I don't believe that.
And I'm pretty sure he was always tall.
Unless you're just the clear and obvious gentle giant that kids just like to mess with. But I think that George has got an ability to defend himself. I see it.
I mean, right now he's watching Hallmark Christmas movies because he likes them.
He's lost his edge. I'll admit that.
If anybody got wind of that when he was in junior high,
there's no saving you. There's no saving you.
No.
Yeah.
Once they find the weakness, the kids are horrible, man. Kids are evil. So now, speaking of the Golden State Warriors, talk to me about this Podziemski. How do you say his name? They call him Pods. Is it Podziemski, or how do you say his name? Whatever the case, he's a starter now. And I think he's the guy who might have edged old Bricko-Matic. Bricko-Matic is what I've always called Klay Thompson, because whenever he gets into strings of like, man, he's shooting lights out, and then other times he's just Bricko-Matic, just clunk, clunk, clunk. And sometimes he does that at the worst possible time. But anyways, back to Pods, since I can't pronounce his name.
Podziemski, I think, but don't quote me on that.
Pods.
I watch a lot of these games in sports bars where I can't hear the announcers pronounce the name, so I just...
No, I mean, that's...
Yeah.
He's not important enough yet that we need to actually have an accurate pronunciation, but he is doing well. He was selected 19th by the Golden State Warriors in the 23 draft, and he thinks he's going to be the guy that takes Steph Curry's place when and if he decides to go on down the driveway. And of course, he's like, yeah, Steph Curry is a great role model. I'm learning a lot of stuff just from watching him. But, is this kid that good? That he's cocky as hell. He's talking about being the new guy who will replace Steph Curry. He's telling Draymond Green, hey, we can't have turnovers when we play. You don't, because they had like a pickup game, and Draymond Green turned the ball over, and Pods got in his face like, "Hey, we can't be doing that during a game. What the hell?" And Green kind of started laughing. He's like, "That's fine, but make sure you speak up like that all the time. If you're going to be that not just in the pickup game, but in the actual games." So, but this kid has won them over.
Yeah.
As far as, being a guy, if you know what I mean.
He's a good shooter, good from three.
I mean, is he coming off the bench, or I thought he was starting, but he's averaging 9.9 points, 46.4% shooting, 38.5% from 3-point range, 5.8 rebounds, 3.9 assists. That's his average in 47 games.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound that great.
But he's not playing nearly as many minutes. And it's the Steph Curry, Jonathan Kuminga show right now. So you're still not the two best guys out there.
All right. Well, okay. Well, I guess that's the end of this hour. Another one coming up next.
Oh, this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
No, I'm getting a cold.
Honey. Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every touchdown, every game, every point, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. See for yourself when you sign up today, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Terms and conditions apply.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 6 to 8 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
So what did the doctor say?
He said I might need surgery.
Wow, it's that serious.
Well, we won't know for sure until I talk with a surgeon, but I'm lost. This is all new to me.
The decision to have surgery isn't easy, but neither is living with pain.
There is an alternative to surgery. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach and can restore pain-free joint function so you can avoid surgery. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. We also help restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and also improves cognition and emotional stability. So when traditional medicine suggests you need surgery, how about taking another approach? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Hi, everybody. It's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. We got Ralph from Harmon Solar just showed up. And we got Keon Rose in the control room. And we got you guys in the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. So are you going to go to the are you going to try to get out there to the first Dodgers preseason spring training games? You can see all your new toys?
Probably not. I mean, it's just preseason, so no, probably not. I'm not.
Oh, I know, but this is a time you can go out there and just kind of see how they're doing, how Otani's hitting, how Yamamoto's pitching, and how all that damn money won't make a bit of difference to you guys in the playoffs yet again.
Gosh, so bitter. Yeah.
Bitter.
I enjoy going there, and I go to the backfields, and then because I know a minor league player, I actually can get into some of the backer fields and watch some of that stuff. I find that way more interesting than going to the stadium to watch the preseason game.
Well, it's supposed to start. When's it? Spring training? I mean, is it somebody already doing it today, or is it starting tomorrow?
Dodgers tomorrow. I know that for sure.
Yeah. Diamondbacks on Friday. So
yeah.
Kenry says, "Hey Ralph, I'm working Saturday morning. I'm bringing the smoke to the text line though.
Bring it.
How do you? I don't think that means what you think. You'll probably get a contact high from Kenry Smoke when he brings it to the text line.
I'm okay with that. I grew up giving contact highs, so I get it.
Fair enough.
It's going to be a really good show because I'm going to just say this real quick. We interviewed a wrestler from ASU, and he's going to be on the show on Saturday. It's a really good interview.
Very cool. Very cool. What's his name?
I can't tell you that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why can't you tell me that?
Because I don't want to.
I'm not going to call him or anything.
And no, his name is Jacob Meisner.
Oh,
he's a sophomore. He's a sophomore at ASU. A really cool story, just learning about his background and how he got here. And
that's interesting because we have him on the show on Friday.
Yeah, of course you do. Yeah. You can't even spell Meisner, but yeah, he's on the show.
No, I'll just go see how you misspelled it on Facebook. We'll go from there. All right. Well, since Ralph is here, yes, George, Ralph is on the show. He's the guy. Yeah, a day late and a dollar short, but it's good to have him here. Hey, Ralph, why so secretive?
Why so secretive?
You can't tell you, George, or else he wouldn't be secretive anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
People don't get that part. So with the spring training and everybody getting ready for this next season of baseball, it's a lot of practice going on. It's fun. The guys are getting back together, seeing each other since the off season, getting warmed up, getting ready to go, seeing what they got, seeing what they're not. And well, I guess the other day, the Cincinnati Reds spring season, session there, I guess they said, well, let's do some batting practice. And so De La Cruz, who can hit like a mo, just bam, takes every bit of that ball. Pitcher Hunter Green, his car is sitting just right over there. Here comes De La Cruz in batting practice. Bam! Line drive right into smash the rear driver window of his Green's SUV.
Nice.
And he's like, what the hell, man? Green's like, you're paying for this. Yeah, you make more money than I do. And that's a good point. He does make more money. He just signed Green signed a 6-year, $53 million contract in April. I think De La Cruz probably makes more than that.
Yeah, Hunter Green's got plenty of money. He was the number one pick that got an $8 million signing bonus too. So he's doing fine. I actually like him a lot. He's from my high school. Just had a rough career though, a lot of arm issues. But he'll get over it.
De La Cruz, he hit the ball that hit the window. He should pay for that.
Well, of course he should.
Or somebody's insurance or something. But anyways, so spring training is happening. Everybody's happy. Well, okay, not everybody's happy. Not everybody is happy. The Red Sox players are not happy. They are really the opposite of happy. They're pretty ticked off because the players that got left behind after they traded away most of the their big salaries out there, and they're like, hey, who are we getting free agency? Nobody. Why? Because shut up. That's why. And so now they're like, what are we doing here? And Rafael Devers, he's just like the last guy in the building, and he's like, yeah, normally this is a guy who doesn't make a lot of noise. And but now he's making noise by basically saying, what the hell? How are we going to win anything if we're going to be so cheap here? And so when a guy like that starts getting outspoken and talking about this stuff, basically calling the owners out, calling the management out, saying, "Oh, I get I'm trying to be on a budget. Everybody's on a budget, but you guys went the wrong way here. This is no longer a competitive team. How did you go from what you were to what you are now? that quickly and expect anything good to happen?
I think it's amplified because I really think the Dodgers have upset Major League Baseball. They've done so much, which is just ridiculous, that I think teams like Boston, yeah, I mean, you're not spending any money. They're going to suck, right? Which I'm happy about. I don't like Boston, but I think there's quite a few teams.
I love them when they beat the Yankees. Outside of that, I generally don't care.
Well, and to your point right there, the Yankees have done a lot in the offseason as well. So the Yankees should be a much improved team with the Juan Soto and all the other changes they made. So as a Boston player, that's got to upset you even more. So, I mean, I just think you're right. I mean, if you're not going to pay them, I wouldn't want to play on a team that's not spending the money to try to get to the promised land. That would piss me off.
Well, if you look at the team, though, they 4 years ago won a World Series, which means, and you've seen the Red Sox spend money. Maybe John Henry. Well, okay. I mean, he's an idiot, but maybe the company has decided, well, geez, we keep just shoveling money out. Maybe it's just like, all right, we had our World Series. Maybe we just pull back for just let our money rest a second, and then we'll come back after it
again. I think that maybe that's one way to approach it, or at least, offload some contracts. And then once you've cleared the books of everybody, then you start over again. That is a way to do it. It's just when you have a team as talented as theirs was, and a fan base that wants to win, that they went through obviously one of the longest droughts in Major League Baseball history, and then they got that taste of winning. People don't like to go back to losing after something like that. Like you can deal with the losing if that's all your team does. But when you start to win and you finally get that title and then you get another one, you'd like to keep that going. And so it has to be frustrating. I'm sure it doesn't help that Netflix, they've partnered with Netflix to make a documentary about the Red Sox this season. And he's like, why? Devers is like, we're probably not going to be great. This is kind of insulting. You're not only are you not helping us win financially, but now you're putting us in a position where we might be embarrassed in front of a bunch of people who aren't even going to watch the season, but may watch that documentary and think that this is what we are.
This is a reality moment for Devers. Devers is like, hey, I told them what we need to do to win, and they didn't listen to me. Well, they never will, Devers. They never will.
You know, you can tell they don't care. They traded a player to the Yankees.
Oh, no. That is
they don't
unheard
ever
of.
do
Yeah.
that.
Wow. That's a sin. That is a sin.
Not unless you think that guy is secretly going to make the Yankees worse. Like, this guy's so bad.
No, I mean, Alex Verdugo.
But that's not the case here. So no. I don't get it.
And you know what happens when they trade players to the Yankees? I mean,
curses happen.
Yeah, exactly.
you think
that Babe Ruth and the goat and all that crap.
The curse of the Bambino.
Wait, no, that was the Cubs, the goat, right? No, it was just right? Babe Ruth for the Yankees. Yeah. 888-368-1580. So Rafael Devers, he does not give an F. He'll just he's sitting there looking around like, I'm all alone here. And I said, hey guys, let's do something. They're not doing anything. So, he's talking, which is not a guy who usually ever opened his mouth. So I'm sorry, Berg, but your team is a joke at the moment.
Oh, his contract goes until 2033.
Yeah, he's been there for 5 years already, and I'm sure he can ask for a trade, right?
He can ask. Yeah.
You can ask whatever you want.
I mean, they may not do it, but you can ask.
888-368-1580. Desert Viking says the Twins had a similar offseason to the Red Sox. Hey, Ralph, what's your opinion on the Twins offseason? I think they're going to need a healthy Royce Lewis and Byron Buxton in center field if they're going to make the playoffs again.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I didn't really follow them too much, but I don't think they did a whole lot at all, if I remember right. I think they were trying to make a couple different moves, but it didn't go their way. Some people passed, and which really hurt them. But I think they're going to rely on some of the youth they have in their farm system as well. They got a couple guys that are pretty solid that could make the team this year. So yeah, I mean, I think they tried, but it didn't really work for them on a couple players.
So random texter says, hey, Jeffrey, I realize the great meteorologist Randy White is not in studio today, but I did want to make a mention. It's raining at the 303 and Indian School. What the hell? Okay, hold on. I'm looking at my radar right now, the weather radar, and I don't see even a cloud in the sky. You sure it's not like a a fire hydrant just sort of went off or something? Because did anybody else out there see rain clouds or anything?
Yeah, there is in the north part of the valley.
My weather radar sucks then because there's just nothing on it. So
yeah, nothing that even looks like a rain cloud over here.
All right. So Ralph says in the West Valley, and that's where the 303 is. So I don't know what you want from me, random texter. Enjoy the rain. I mean, just drive safely. Big George says, question for Ralph, Harmon Solar, and the Weekend Warriors. Says, do you think the Coyotes snap their 10-game losing streak tonight? Again, don't ask Ralph that. He's going to say no.
Ask me that.
You can't ask Ralph that. You already asked us that earlier, and we were done talking about it.
I have mine answering it.
Okay, I'll read the complete question. Do you think the Coyotes will snap their 10-game losing streak tonight, because he spells horribly, against the Toronto Maple Leafs at the Mullet Arena in Tempe?
You know, I really thought they were going to snap it the other night. I think it was Monday night when they were playing Edmonton. They were up 3-2 going into the third, and then they just fell apart. Whose
fault was that, by the way? 4 goals in the third. Whose fault was that?
I think it's a combination defensively, just getting out of position and getting beat, and the goalie just,
goalie had a moment
giving up after a while. I don't know. But I really thought they had that game, and I was like, wow, that really turned really fast too. No, I think they're in a really bad place right now. I think it's going to be tough for them to snap it tonight against a good Toronto team. We'll see. I mean, it's hockey; anything's possible. But the way they're playing right now, they're inside their heads a little bit. They're just they're in a really bad space right now, and they have to get out of it. Hey, the Kings were that way in January, and they got out of it. I mean, had to fire a coach to do it. But I mean, eventually they'll snap out of it. I don't think it'll be tonight, though.
The Coyotes are they're not. They're not gonna change coaches. And
no, I don't see that happening.
You might get out of it and have some good games, but there's no playoffs.
They're young. You expected something like this to happen, right? And it's okay.
I expected it for short bursts at a time. I didn't expect it to get this bad, so I'm a little disappointed.
But it's okay. I mean, they're young and they're going to learn from it. There's a good squad there. There's a good foundation there. Just keep going forward.
Moist one says, I heard a snippet of Ralph's show. Oh, okay. How do you only hear a snippet? He says, no, he said, Trevor Bauer is a top 5 pitcher in the world. Take his baseball takes with a grain of salt, everybody, and a shot of tequila.
Yeah, he did. He texted into the show and said that. And apparently he just doesn't understand baseball or just common sense in life. Trevor Bauer is a top 5 player in the world, and I'll stick to that. And if you look at his stats, when he left, he was top 5, and he's actually better today than he was when he left. So, and I hope he can prove that, so he can prove you wrong. And you'll see that if he gets into the MLB, he'll be an instant top 5 pitcher.
So
I hope it happens.
Who's tracking what's going on with him? Is he getting any nibbles? Is he? I mean,
so he had a lot of conversations with people. A lot of teams talked to him, but nobody pulled the trigger.
Everybody's scared, huh?
And I don't think anyone's gonna pull the trigger. I still say the Diamondbacks should do it. I think it would help them dramatically, but I don't think they're going to.
Maybe that's what this is going to be. It's going to be a desperation. We had to do something kind of move in season.
Well, the problem is what he'll probably do is if he doesn't get any bite here in the next 2-3 weeks, he's probably just going to go back to Japan.
I think he's turning Japanese. I really think so.
He had fun out there, and it's a great, that organization, that league out there is actually pretty good. So there's a lot of quality players there.
Desert Viking says nothing but blue skies out here. Where are you at? Oh, South Maricopa. You're not even in the area. Swave Dave says, drop the following at the westbound I-10 and about 32nd Street, which means the freeway is crawling. I don't know what drop the following means, but I guess the freeway is crawling. All right, so let's move on to something else. By the way, we didn't get to talk a lot of football yesterday. I feel like we're going to talk a lot of football this afternoon. Unless you had other things because out of nowhere shows up Ralph. So it's like, Ralph, did you have some things that you wanted to talk about?
Wow. Isn't football season over?
It's never over, Ralph.
It's
just various forms of existence. We're in the football, pre-draft season.
We should be doing a team by team spring training analysis for the next 3 weeks.
I mean, you can say that. I don't know. When you're a Washington fan, a fan of this football team in particular, season's over around week 8, and you're ready for the new season kind of around then.
Wow.
And so I'm prepared for the draft already. I mean, I'm going through, watching all the players and all the prospects going through it. I'm ready for free agency and all that stuff. And then you win the off season, and then it doesn't mean anything, and you lose in the regular season. That's how it's supposed to go.
I was just going to say, Ralph, I'm not going to be on the show on Friday. If you want to be on the show with Keon and do a full, even if you just say a few sentences about each team, but if you want to do a full, spring training rundown and take a look at where all the teams are, you're more than welcome to do so.
I will consider that. I commit to nothing.
I might be on for a little bit on Friday, but once you start doing that, I'm out of here.
I will say this when it comes to football. I am extremely interested. I'm very happy with what Seattle did as far as coaches. I'm really curious to see where they go next. They have the youngest coaching staff in football right now, with practically no experience in the NFL. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do.
And it could go one of two ways.
Yes.
It could be
really good or really bad.
Yeah. I mean, it could be horrible. None of these guys know anything about what they're doing, and maybe a little experience in the room would be nice. Or they could just be innovators and 3 steps ahead of the league. I mean, it really that's the range of outcomes there. It's a lot.
I
was going to say, I'm just curious to see if they're going to get rid of Tyler Lockett. I've heard DK might get traded. I've heard a bunch of stuff. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen.
Oh, man, it could be a complete bleep show, man.
It could be.
Haruto, our friend from Japan, says, Mr. Romano, Trevor Bauer is a top-notch pitcher, and we would love to have him come back to Japan. Japanese women like to be choked during sex, so he fits perfectly. Haruto's honesty is unparalleled on this show.
Is Haruto in Japan?
I don't know if he's in Hawaii or he's in Japan, but he's friends with somebody that used to work with in Hawaii. I don't know. Haruto, where is your location? Don't worry, we're not going to bomb you. We're just asking you where you're currently at the moment.
And do you like choking women?
I'm
just curious.
I wouldn't answer that second one personally, but you just let that ride.
Well,
unless the answer is just obviously no.
With consent should be the answer if it's yes.
Well, yes.
Randomly walk up and just like, welcome to McDonald's.
You just didn't like her face. That's not a good reason at all.
I have the greatest story about that I will tell you next time I see you, and it's not about me. It's about a guy that worked for me.
Yeah,
that will have you. Will have you on the floor.
I feel like my life might not be better knowing it.
You'd be better knowing. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
would never say it on the radio, but it's hilarious.
I feel like I'm busy that weekend.
Whatever weekend that is.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, I got a little man talk, and then we're going to talk some football. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on Carol. She's more focused on hitting a high note than the car in front of her. Why pay a rate based on anyone else? Get one based on you with DriveWise from Allstate.
Not available in Alaska or California, subject to terms and conditions. Rates are determined by several factors, which vary by state. In some states, participation in DriveWise allows Allstate to use your driving data for purposes of rating. While in some states, your rate could increase with high-risk driving. Generally, safer drivers will save with DriveWise. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Marijuana may be legal in Arizona, but driving impaired is not.
As a police officer here in Arizona, I know DUIs apply to more than just alcohol. Anything that impairs driving makes you dangerous on the road. If you feel different, you drive different, and driving impaired can get you a DUI.
Get the facts at drivinghighaz.com and spread the word. with the hashtag HighDUI. This message is sponsored by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
Jeffrey O'Brien here, and congratulations. You just made it through the hottest summer in Arizona history. No lie. The only proof you need is in that electric bill. If you don't have solar, I wonder how bad it's going to get next year. You need to call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're a locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189, or go to harmonsolar.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way, from up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet, weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Today's Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. Mr. Wilbur says, Ralph.
Yes.
I won 100%. I 100% agree with you.
Oh.
Well, you spelled that all out very weird with your Braille typer. He says, because he says, I won 100, like WON, like you won a prize.
Oh.
I 100% agree with you about Trevor Bauer. I'd love for him to be a Diamondback. He was truly given the shaft. Oh, easy, Wilbur. Speaking of giving me the shaft, is that why APS supposedly can increase my rates by 13% to solar users? What's he talking about?
Yeah, APS is they're doing the commission meetings right now, and the commission is trying to bring back a solar fee that they had years ago that got taken away. So
they can give you a increase in your rate by 13% just because you have solar panels in your house.
I don't know that it'd be 13%. It'd be more like a fee per the size of your system. It could probably be about $8-9 on your bill.
What right do they have to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. The commission can do whatever they decide they want to do, and APS can request anything. So we'll see what happens. And plus, there's a rate case going on overall, so they are trying to increase the rates again. And that's probably what he more means is if you're not a solar person, they're trying to increase everyone's rates right now. So that's a yearly thing. Every year we go through this.
You know what I like about Harmon Solar?
What's that?
I like that I never see news stories where 3 on your side, 5 on the street, 15 up your pants, whatever they are. They don't ever have stories about Harmon Solar.
Yeah, and you won't see that because that's, I've been there 11 years, which is kind of crazy to think about. And one of the reasons I've done it is the ownership. The ownership there is just full of integrity, good people. And when something goes wrong, and it is construction, things happen. When something goes wrong, they take care of it. They make it right, and they always make it right. I've never seen them not make it right.
Saw this news story. I've already forgotten the names, like Freedom, F you up, Solar.
Freedom Forever. Yeah.
Is that? Yeah, that's it. And I guess what they did is they went over and they did the sales call, and they got there like, yeah, let's do this. And the lady decided, her and her husband are like, oh, you know what? I don't think this is really right for us. And so they canceled, and they canceled within the time period that they were allowed to cancel.
Right.
Well, so in like a year and a half later, they end up with a bill and a notice saying you owe us $30,000. You better start making your payments. And so they called them up and said, hey, what the hell is this? And they're like, deal with it. And so then they called Channel 3 or something. And then Channel 3 says, what's wrong with you people? And they're like, oh, nothing. We're just forgiven. And it had gone to a collection agency.
Oh, my God.
And there was a lien on their house.
And they didn't even know it.
So dirty.
Yeah, that's the problem in the solar industry. You have some dirty people in it. And like you said, that's why I don't say it just because I work there. Harmon Solar is a really honest company with a lot of integrity. And they actually are trying to help people. And they try to make everything right. And they do a good job of it. So that's why I've stayed there as long as I have. Speaking of that, we dropped a podcast on Monday about the installation. If you're really interested in learning about what happens installation day and kind of the things they go through, it's a pretty good podcast. We brought our director of operations on. You'd probably want to go listen to that if you have an opportunity.
So I'm going to guess what happens is all the electricity in the house gets turned off. And then they go up and they put the panels up. And then what you do is you sit in the living room with a lamp with the shade off, and you look at the light bulb, and eventually that thing goes and it lights up, and everybody claps.
That's exactly what happens. That's exactly what we said in the podcast. You watched it, didn't you?
No, I just guessed.
No, you watched the podcast.
That's amazing. I should work for Harmon Solar.
You
because that's how I would do it.
You already do. You just don't know it. You're not getting paid.
You all do. Pineapple Express says, "Hey Ralph,
yes sir.
Is there any harm in solar?"
Are we doing this again?
He's doing it again.
You can't do that again. I thought we were.
I thought that was Henry. That wasn't even Pineapple Express's joke. He just took the horrible joke from somebody else,
which is double egregious.
Moist One says, "Is Trevor Bauer now calling Kaepernick for the right wing?"
For the right wing? What does this have to do with politics?
Well, because Colin Kaepernick, he was the left wing guy, and then for maybe now for sports, Trevor Bauer, he's the right wing guy.
Trevor Bauer is a victim of injustice.
So was Colin Kaepernick. He was a victim of blackballing.
Here's the difference, and I agree with part of what you're saying. I do. I don't like Colin Kaepernick, but I'd absolutely, when you look at it from a different point of view, I agree with you. But he was also a declining quarterback that was not that good at the time this happened.
That is true.
And when he complains even today about he deserves an opportunity, no, you don't. I mean, you were bad when this all happened. You had a period where you were really good, and then you dropped like a rock, and you're just not that good. And that's why you're not in the NFL right now. It's not because of all the other stuff. Maybe it was in the beginning because of all the other stuff, and I'm not going to argue that. But today it's because you weren't that good when you left, and you're not any better now.
Well, they decommissioned him, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. But Trevor Bauer is on the top of his game. I've seen the guy work out. I've seen him pitch. He's throwing better than he ever has in his entire career right now. If the Diamondbacks picked him up, he would be their number one guy. He'd be a 20-game winner, and it would be a different team this year because of it.
Well, they are both suffering in the same way. One way that Colin Kaepernick it was the lack of opportunity, a lack of a chance. There was a lot of times where they should have given Colin Kaepernick a workout he should have shown up as a backup someplace because he deserved a look. That much talent. And I always said this, forget about the argument on which side. If you're angry because he kneeled, even though a Navy SEAL said, "Hey, here's what I would do," because you're trying to make a point. If you're no matter what you think about anything, all you had to do to shut the whole situation up was give him the try. Because he's either going to fail. Now you can say, "Hey, we gave him a shot. It didn't work out. He's just not good." Or suddenly he's good enough. Now you got a good player. So nobody would have been hurt by giving Colin Kaepernick that opportunity, but he was blackballed by the NFL, and that was the end of that. Nobody was going to cross that line.
I agree with you, but I also think that he made it worse than it needed to be. Just like that whole debacle when he did have that workout and then he changed it last minute.
That kind of weird.
That was weird. And that was just him trying to create issues, create news. And I don't know why he went down that road, because he had a real legitimate chance to at least get in front of people and say, "Here, I still have it." And he blew that.
And the thing is, the reason why I think he screwed himself up on that is because he gave people excuses to say, "Well, look, if you hadn't been so weird about this, then you might have gotten that opportunity."
You're right.
It was bigger than that, because Baker Cocky Hens reminds us that Kaepernick also required a starting job. He's like, "I am not a backup.
That's true.
I'm not going to take a backup job. I'm a starter."
By the time he got that second look, he said he would be okay with being a backup, but obviously several years had gone by.
He burned the bridges
and
with the
then
weirdness.
He did the weird thing with changing where the workout was. So it was just some of the hurdles.
I think he
were
knew
hurdles they placed
he wasn't going to be up to it, so he made it a circus. He was just trying to get some exposure at that moment. I kind of felt like he wasn't even serious, Keon.
Not the second time, I think you have a strong argument for it. The first time, I think he really wanted to play, but yeah, he did demand to be a starter. So that's going to hamper some things. But the second time, I don't even know how serious he was.
And where Trevor Bauer is different, and if you've been watching this apology tour, he's come out and he's out there doing all these interviews, and he's talking about, number one, how he was wrong. He didn't do what they said he did, and I 100% believe this guy. And number two, he's also admitted that he's put himself in a bad position in life with girls and different things. And now he's going to actively not do that anymore because he's grown up. He's made a mistake. He's not going to look to do that anymore. Whether that's true or not doesn't matter. He's saying the right things. And he's not going to come in and talk bad about MLB because he's just not doing it now. He's trying to get somebody to give him a shot. He wants to play baseball. He's at that age. He's 33. He needs to play now, right? Because in the next few years, you're going to start seeing the decline. So that's kind of where I think he's a little different, is he's kind of like saying, okay, fine, I accept this. I didn't do that, but I'm not a bad guy, and give me a shot. Kaepernick, I mean, I guess we can sit there and have the argument of, do these teams have too much power? But at the same time, it's their teams and their league, and I guess they get to say who plays in it and who doesn't. If they really, it's their money, they're paying these guys.
It was just one of those,
I don't know.
It's just one of those things where they should have just come out and said that, as opposed to
you would hope, right?
Everybody pretending as though Colin Kaepernick wasn't a good option in a league where, like, I was watching Blake Bortles play significant minutes that season. You know, it was just.
And the bad press he would have brought to a team in a 17-week season versus the bad press that then the chaos, not bad press, but more the chaos Trevor Bauer will eventually bring if he joins a team initially. But because the season is so long and so laid out, it's going to die down. Or in the NFL, I think it's more impactful because it's a shorter season and it really could derail a team quickly. And maybe that was part of the reason they didn't want to put him on, because they knew the minute they brought him on, it was going to be a circus with the media.
Raven Kid says Trevor Bauer went to go play where he got a contract in Japan. Colin Kaepernick didn't get offered a job anywhere.
And that's just
not the USFL or the XFL.
No, the CFL did offer him.
Oh, the Canada did.
They did,
but
he didn't want. He said he was above it.
But yeah, that's the thing. If he's not going to take a backup job, he's not going to take UFL, XFL, the CFL job.
And like the Canadians will take anybody. They took Johnny Manziel. So it's like, if you think you're above the Canadian Football League and you've been to a Super Bowl, I can understand it.
Why not go there?
I still think do it. I mean,
go there and kill it.
Warren Moon wasn't too good. He went up there and won 7 Grey Cups. So.
Here's why. Because at this point you no longer have it, but it's better for you to say I'm the victim. Even though I believe he was early on, but later on, once you remove that doubt, there's no more conversation. And if Colin Kaepernick goes out there and looks bad, nobody's going to talk about him anymore. Nobody's going to say this is the guy 100%. Who got the short end. Eventually it's going to happen. He's been decommissioned by the NFL, so we've reached that point. You're
100% right. I agree with you 100%. If he would have went out there, he would have looked bad, and that was the end of the conversation. Trevor Bauer went to Japan, and he was a stud, made the All-Star game, and in the second part of the season was at the best he's ever been in his life. That's the difference. He can help the team today.
That said, Colin Kaepernick was screwed over, absolutely screwed over for the opportunity. But like I said before, Kurt Warner went to San Francisco to try to work with Colin Kaepernick at the request, I think, of Harbaugh and or whoever was coach at the time. And, he worked with him. If Kurt Warner comes to town and works with you and you're no better than you were after, I mean, I have to believe that, something was really wrong with Colin Kaepernick's game if Kurt Warner can't help you.
But I guess when we're sitting here saying he was screwed over, but it is the NFL's team. They don't have to bring somebody on. It's their organization. Well, if they don't want to bring somebody, they don't have to.
Guess what? That's what happened, and here we are. They got to do what they want to do. It doesn't mean you're right.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, I understand it's their organization. They don't have to bring a guy on if they want to. But I'm a Washington Commanders fan, and in that same time frame, I literally watched Mark Sanchez play quarterback for my team the week after Josh Johnson played quarterback after my team. The week after Taylor Heineke played quarterback for my team. For me, it's just like, look, man,
why not try?
It can't be worse than Mark Sanchez somehow doing a second butt fumble in a game so insignificant it didn't even create memes. So, like, you just give it a shot. What could it hurt for some of these teams that are sorry? What could it hurt?
And then the conversation about all that would be over. Right?
I think I hear you. What you just said. Wow, that's painful. My team's never been that bad.
No team has ever been that bad.
No, and the Cardinals is anyway.
No team has ever been that bad. I will stand by it.
But I would Mark Sanchez.
I think the problem with him was no one took him seriously. No one, I think, really felt the guy really wanted to come back in the league. I think he felt like he was just playing this game for attention and to try to make money. And it worked for him because he's had other things that have come into his life because of all this, where he's made a ton of money.
It's not just the money. He's also been able to raise awareness, and actually, as much as
And
people
that's
think
fine.
he hasn't, he has done some good to the conversation.
I just never felt he was serious about coming back.
No,
And I think he really killed
I
himself.
kind
in
of
that
felt
second
that
time.
way too.
Because I've kind of followed him. He's more on the path of trying to be an activist. That's
Yes.
where
Yeah,
his heart
absolutely.
has been ever since then. And even though he keeps, every now and then he'll put out something that goes, I'm still working out, I'm still ready. Like, his heart is in activism. It's not in football. And once people saw that, like, at that point, like, I thought it was totally fair that no one's gonna pick up the phone and call you. Right. You have a different occupation now. You are doing a different job.
Oily Stool says, yeah, we would have taken Colin Kaepernick here in Canada. Anything is better than our current quarterback on the Edmonton Elks. Taylor Cornelius, Jarrett Douge, and Trey Ford.
Douche.
Douche.
What a great name.
They call him Douche. They got to call him Douche.
Right. You know they do.
Grey's
Cornelius.
Anatomy says Ravens were seriously considering signing Kaepernick at one point, but then he insulted the owner by comparing him to a slave owner. So that ended his chance there.
There you go. That's what I'm
I
talking about.
don't remember the whole story there in the context. of it.
I don't either, but yeah,
If that's true,
You've got to know how the owner's going to feel about that. Even if you think that's true, you can't say that to his face or anywhere he'll hear it if he's going to give you a job.
Yeah,
Some
millions
things need
of
to
dollars.
stay for millions of dollars.
In
It's
the
just
slave
like,
owner.
yeah, just the foremost.
You know how many
slavery.
millions those slaves made? I mean, it was amazing, right?
Just preposterous.
Go pick that cotton for $5 million a year. I mean, that's not how it went.
That's not what happened. No,
I do it. Manitoban Moose says, I think what Ralph's trying to say is that the difference in treatment between the two is Colin Kaepernick is black and Trevor Bauer is white. Racist football owners showing their true colors. Well, here's the thing. Both of these guys are not getting a shot. Colin Kaepernick's story is over. Trevor Bauer, still in progress, is not getting a shot. And neither has to do. Well, okay,
his color.
Trevor Bowers has nothing to do with being white. That's about
No.
perception and people worried about his kinkiness. The Colin Kaepernick thing, we've been down that driveway. We all know what that's about. And
Right.
a lot of that is racially motivated.
And
but
then near
also-
the end, he put some hurdles in front of himself.
Yes, self-inflicted. So, anyways, we don't need to keep going after that. We need to go after other things. One of the things I was trying to do was some damn man talk. We never got to do it.
This was a good conversation.
So we'll do it when we come back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
There's a reason why conventional healthcare is referred to as practicing medicine. Hi, this is Dr. Hannah Lindsay. At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. I regularly see patients with a variety of acute and chronic health conditions, including many autoimmune and rheumatological diseases. We can restore pain-free joint function and balance immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and overall well-being. We emphasize natural and holistic interventions with lifestyle changes and take advantage of the full palette of care options from traditional remedies to modern science. We collaborate with experts in a wide range of health disciplines, including physical therapists and specialist physicians, referring patients as needed to ensure the most effective care possible. So how about a second opinion on your health? You might just end up feeling like yourself again. Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161, or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every basket, every game, every point, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a three-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game, or a player goes 2 for 2 at the foul line. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342.
I'm an Arizona truck driver. I deliver food, medicine, supplies, and hope.
And during times of crisis, I support our communities. But every day I see people putting lives and families at risk.
Distracted driving is deadly, period. Be aware, be safe, and visit sharetheroadaz.com and find tips on how to drive safely around trucks.
This message is sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation.
Download the Fanatic app.
News, scores, social media updates, and more on your smartphone, on your tablet. The free Fanatic app, available at the Google Play Store or the App Store, and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Dave Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Florida Mustard says Kaepernick could have started for the Patriots, but refused to slap Robert Kraft's. I can't read that. He got dirty really fast there, Florida Mustard. I think I can say taint. I don't know. I'm just saying. Then the part about the scented Vaseline. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. I'm going to leave it there, Florida Mustard. Kyle G says the worry of giving Cap or Bauer a shot is that they might actually be good. Then you're the one team that has to take their side against the media and a large portion of the league. Most owners don't have the guts to do that. Different stories, different scenarios, both of these things, but you could probably have a point there, a point to a point. All right, Big George is excited about the man talk. Why are you excited about man talk, Big George? Big George, he talks about, watching Hallmark movies and rom-coms and stuff. Wow. I mean, I'm not saying Big George is unmanly.
Really? He watches Hallmark movies?
Yeah, I don't understand it, man.
I don't think that's unmanly as much as it's you just have bad taste.
Very unmanly and bad taste.
They're very bad movies.
They're very bad.
He's like, come on, are we going to talk about power tools, automotive parts, women, beer? He says, I'm all in. Georgia, I'm not going to call into question your manliness, but except for with the Hallmark movies. But don't try to be butch. It's just, don't try to just
be yourself.
Not fooling anybody, George. Not fooling anybody. But here's the thing. Let's just do a quick bit. There's some things that maybe we can talk about. One of the things that I got to say is tip of the hat to Sylvester Stallone. This guy, he knows how to be a manly parent. Here's what happened. He felt so nervous about his 2 oldest daughters moving to New York City that he hired Navy SEALs to train them in self-defense. That is, wow. That is awesome. Yeah, his daughter, Sophia and Sistine, I guess they're 27 and 25. And they're like, we're moving to New York. And he's like, and he's like, what did he say? He wants us to train with some Navy SEALs. And she says, Sistine was like, yeah, this was some hard training. He says, it was about 6 hours. We were in them woods and we got our butts whipped by these guys. So I guess to train in self-defense, they had to beat the hell out of your daughters?
Well, because they just from the story that I saw, there was an actual boot camp.
Oh,
yeah. So
I thought they just took them out in the woods and beat the crap out of them.
No, I don't think that's all that entailed anyway. No, it was a boot camp.
It's cheaper than camp. So, the girls had to chase a chicken, like their dad did in Rocky 2. And they said it's very hard to catch the chicken, and they couldn't catch the chicken. But I guess, I think that's a good parenting, don't you? You got a daughter going to New York City. You get them some. I probably would go for some actual self-defense training and not just chasing a chicken around in the woods. But
I'm sure there was more to it than that. But
I mean, I would want
that would be something you'd remember.
Why would you want to move to New York City? I don't get that part.
Why? I don't know. Why wouldn't you?
Because if you can afford to live there, it's
a crap hole.
Parts of it are crap hole, but the part that's
No, it's a crap
Sylvester Stallone's kids are going to be in will not be a crap hole.
Well,
that'll be a rich hole.
It'll be a rich hole above a crap hole.
I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
I like
Every
Brooklyn
rich
a
hole
lot.
is above a crap hole in New York City.
It is.
To be fair, I don't-
My sister was a big upper muckety muck in New York City, working for a company, and then I said, "So, what's it like when you get? Talk me through a day." And everything she described all was, like, oh, you sometimes you walk through the park, or sometimes you say that, but every time she described something, it was included with it was the smell of urine.
Yep.
It was
Well-
just a constant thing where she's like, oh, it's great. You walk in your favorite coffee shop, you walk out, and there's a bum there peeing all over you. And it's just,
Really,
That's called creamer.
My memory as a child is the rats in the subway
Mhm.
were gigantic, like
Yep.
menacingly large.
Mhm.
They're bigger now.
I'm sure they are.
So that's why you need training before you go there.
Because the rats would mug you. That's why.
You need a gun, but you can't carry it.
I mean, forget the people. The rats will steal your wallet. It's
Navy Brad, for some reason, says, I'll bet right now that Ralph can't do a single push-up.
Absolutely can.
that just seems like a very low bar.
Yeah.
Why?
How many
Why,
do you think
why
you
wouldn't
could
you
do?
be able to do one?
I happen to. I lift 3-4 times a week. I'm pretty. I'm pretty darn strong.
Navy
My
Brad
problem is I like sugar.
might think you like. By the way, Ralph, you thinking you're doing a push-up is not the same as getting up out of bed. That's not a push-up.
No.
Probably should count though. Pineapple Express says, Ralph, your MAGA hat is showing with your New York City crap hole comments. Wait, I just said it was a crap hole too.
See, I don't have a MAGA hat.
Mm-hmm.
I have one that says "Make America Italian Again," but I don't have a MAGA hat.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Ever seen that? That's my.
Oh, and see, I saw that too, Pineapple Express. He says, you realize that the murder rate of New York City is half that of Phoenix. Hey, Pineapple Express, you realize your ability to do math is half that of most people because it's actually, I think it's 2/3 higher if I saw the right number.
It's a lot higher.
Yeah, it's
not
a lot
close.
higher here in Phoenix than it is New York.
It's based on per capita also. So you have to
Yes,
look at that.
per 100,000 people. I think it was almost close to 3 times. So, yay, Phoenix.
Well, I hate to say this, but there's just too many Californians moving here.
That's okay. All right. No, I'm not going to argue with you. But here's the thing. They said it was Phoenix, the city of Phoenix. There's a lot of shooty,
It has gotten bad.
stabby areas in that part of the valley.
It was very hard for me to find a place to live when I was moving out here because I don't know the area. So I would send Jeffrey, an apartment or an address that looked, kind of affordable. And he'd go, oh no, you can't go there.
Nope.
There's a reason that's
no,
affordable.
somebody got shot there. Oh,
Yep.
okay. Ooh,
I steered you right on that. I steered you,
you
right
did.
on
You
that.
did.
But then he went and got himself his first apartment and sight unseen before I had a chance to check it out for him. And
I was just running out of time, man. I was
Yeah.
just running out of time. Had to make a decision. And to be fair, I was in no
COVID too.
I was in no danger of being hurt. It's just in a dumpy apartment.
Right. You were in no danger of people hurting you, but there were a couple of roach fights that you were like, come
yeah,
on.
just
This thing mugged me in the,
yeah.
in the
I mean,
hallway.
you get up to go to the bathroom at night, and then you got to square up because
You got to square
they're
up.
coming for you.
That's awesome.
Desert Viking says, don't let anyone bully you for telling the truth, Ralph.
And that's the problem, right? You can tell the truth and people don't want to hear it. So, but I have no problem saying it.
Well, first off, your truth is yours. Mine
No,
is mine.
I mine's factual. truth.
Here on this show, I don't think we've been in that deep of a disagreement here.
No, we
lately.
haven't. No.
It doesn't mean you're right. Heavy Metal I'm just more right. Heavy Metal Maniac says, I'm with Keon. I went to New York and I saw a rat carrying some pizza. I think they run the underground.
I think they do also.
I think one of the I don't know if it was Time Magazine or National Geographic. They had like the photos of the year.
Mhm.
And one of the animal photos of the year were these 2 rats that were literally fighting in the subway. It was, and I mean, like one had like a fist back.
Mhm.
Squared up. That's awesome. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's gotten out of control. I think the rats are ordering DoorDash now.
At this
They
point,
just-
I would not be surprised.
They'll steal somebody's cell phone. Big George says, I only watch Hallmark movies. Oh, here comes. Here comes.
Here comes
Yeah,
excuse.
There's not an exception there that's going to be acceptable, Big George. There just is not.
says during the Christmas season, they get excited for Christmas. I don't watch that channel the rest of the year. That's not what you told me. That is not what you've said before.
You've said otherwise before, but even if that's all you said, I'll give you that. I will give you only watch during the holidays. You know they make Christmas movies that are better than the movies that are on Hallmark that are Christmas movies.
Well,
so many of them.
But they are adding. They're adding. I heard this year that they're going to start adding nudity and sex scenes on Hallmark Channel.
Not enough to get me over there.
I ain't falling for it, Ralph.
That's what I heard. I mean, I'm just saying. So maybe Big George has got something he's playing this. I don't know.
I could find nudity and sex scenes
anywhere
without the Hallmark Channel. That's not going to get me there.
Yeah, that cringy rom-com stuff ain't worth seeing a nipple. Fish
seconds
Tank
or whatever it
says, since we're talking about houses, are we talking about houses? I have some news. I'm moving in with a lady, so I will no longer have the garage bar. Good news is I'm going to rent out this house. So if you're looking for a place to live, you can rent from me, and I will leave the bar in there. I didn't even know you had a new lady. Good for you, man.
Is she a guppy? What is she?
What does that mean, a guppy?
Well, he's a fish tank, so I'm just curious if she
better not be a guppy.
Guppies fit in fish tanks, so I don't know what kind of fish she is.
That would make fish. If it's a guppy, fish tank would be a molester. Yeah,
I didn't want to say that word, but
don't.
I was trying to move around that.
Is she also a fish?
A guppy's a fish.
No. A guppy is a baby. It's a little baby salamander.
I didn't say she was an algae eater. I just asked if she was a guppy.
Why do you got to make this weird? So, fish tank, that's sad. I mean, if she really loves you, you keep the bar, or you're just going to a completely new place. You know, good for you on the rental thing. So, yeah, rentals, are those a good idea? I feel like those are a good idea.
I don't.
You don't think so? No, I mean, making money off of owning a house that you rent to somebody
I think
else.
that's a great idea, but with the way the laws are, there's so many people that go to rentals and squat in there, and then you can't do anything to get them out for a year or two.
Hire professional management service for that.
They can still squat. There's a lot of that going on now. It's kind of crazy.
Well, you just took all the fun out of it.
I know, they did. They took all the fun out.
Baker's Cocky Hen says, have you guys talked about the KFC what? Chicken pizza thing yet? What, are they making a pizza? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I hadn't heard that.
Fish Tank says, ooh, I know. Let's call her Angel Fish. Oh, that's actually pretty nice.
They must have just met.
Yeah, he says, I feel like I can't get in trouble there. No, that's perfect. That's perfect.
On one hand, it does look delicious. On the other hand, I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's not an actual pizza. It is chicken with marinara sauce and then cheese and then pepperoni on top of the chicken. It's a chicken.
It's just
pizza.
It's just, that was like that the chicken sandwich they made out of 2 chicken breasts, and this is the same thing. It's just chicken that they've slapped the sauce and the cheese and yeah.
So not really a pizza.
You know what you do though, Ralph? You're gonna like this. Sub roll. Make it like kind of like a chicken marinara sandwich, chicken parm sandwich, or something like that.
That'd be better.
Yeah. Why didn't they do that?
You can do it at home.
You can.
I don't know. This seems kind of silly.
Just add bread to that.
It's like somebody at KFC was like, we haven't had something that will give you a heart attack and get our attention. So they're just trying to get attention.
Hope it works for them.
Yeah, I'm going to pass.
I haven't been to a KFC in a very long time, and this is not about to get me
If you're
there.
going to get a pizza, just go get a yard one from.
I like that idea. Last Optimist says, I'm curious which would win, a New York rat or a Florida alligator? Well, an alligator. They're much bigger.
Yeah, you'd have to give the rat all of his friends.
And alligators they're sneaky fast, by the way. You think, I'm going to outrun this alligator. You're not.
The thing that they say when you outrun an alligator or try to outrun an alligator, you should zigzag because of the way that they move. They've got straight line speed, but they have trouble adjusting to people moving. So
got a better idea. I'm going to avoid alligators.
Avoid alligators. Just saying, if you find yourself in that position for some reason, you're on a Florida golf course where apparently they like to join you. There you go.
Okay. Didn't realize we were going to end up giving tips on alligators.
We didn't plan that either, to be honest. So.
By the way, the alligators in those ponds in Mesa, again, they're not real. People keep still, even after it's been on the news, calling, there's an alligator out here in this pond. I don't know where it came from. And then one lady, I heard this thing where one lady was like, it ate my cat. Like, no, it didn't eat your cat. What? You're lying, because it's just stone. It's just a statue. Anyway, so here's a man card accreditation. I don't know who it is. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know what the story is, but I just find this to be very impressive. Here is the headline: Man arrested for allegedly stealing neighbor's front porch in Georgia. The whole porch? That's what I'm saying. I'm not even angry. That's an 8x10 porch.
Like all at once, or
just took the whole
piece
damn
by
thing.
piece, or
Took the whole damn thing. Impressive. He's like, I thought the house was empty. And so he's like, well, they're not using the porch.
they're not using the porch.
Think I'll help myself to a porch.
So I'll just take an entire porch. Okay, all right.
You can't call this guy lazy.
That's an industrious person, also a thief, but a very conscientious person.
I don't know how angry I would be. I might be more impressed with the effort there. So, all right, we must take a break. When we come back, it's hour 3 of the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com.
Here's Collins ahead to Miller, and Miller reverses it up and in, and he's fouled. Holy moly!
Join the action at Desert Financial Arena and catch Sun Devil men's basketball as the Devils take on Washington Thursday, February 22nd at 7 p.m. and Washington State Saturday, February 24th at 6 p.m. Get your tickets today by calling 480-965-5812 or go online to sundeviltickets.com. Sun Devil men's basketball. Onward to victory.
Hey everybody, Mark Asher back to tell you about my great friends over at the Lund Mortgage Team. You know, the Lund Mortgage Team has been doing their thing for over 2 decades in the Valley, helping thousands of people in Arizona save money on their loans, get the best rate. They're mortgage brokers. They can shop it around for you. And now more than ever, it is so important to have a mortgage professional that's been around, that's seen the high rates, low rates, everything in between, because look, there's no sugarcoating what's going on right now. The rates are higher. However, the supply and demand, the whole how many houses are for sale in Arizona and what's going on, it's gone in favor of the buyer now. So if you're going to buy a new home, it is important to go and get that rate. Whatever that rate is, it's not going to be your forever rate. That's important to think about. So lock it in, get the house of your dreams, and move on. But let the people at the Lund Mortgage Team do their job. All the heavy lifting from start to finish. They'll find you the best rate out there. Call 623-875-9940, 623-875-9940, or online, lundmortgage.com.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every basket, every game, every point, every play, from the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar. Whether it's a three-pointer at the buzzer to tie the game, or a player goes 2 for 2 at the foul line. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342.
Are you ready for your passion to meet your purpose? The city of Chandler is one of the best run cities and best places to live in Arizona, where people express their passion through collaboration and teamwork as we serve our community of innovation. Come to Chandler, where passion meets purpose. Visit jointeamchandler.com for our current openings. That's jointeamchandler.com.
This message is sponsored by the city of Chandler.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K24EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third
hour. All right, people, settle down because it's time. Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 5 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. Your good friend, radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside not Randy White. Hoping he'll be back tomorrow, but we got Ralph from Harmon Solar with us. We got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580 as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. Before we go any further, I do need to give you a public service announcement. You know how the weather is starting to go back the other direction where it's warmer, and that means if you're out hiking around, the snakes are coming out, the lizards are coming out, and this old lady got bit in the ankle by a rattlesnake the other day. So I'm just saying, be careful. Also, I know that a lot of you guys who've been on the text line lately are visiting from Canada and other places. We got a Hawaiian, we got a Jamaican, we have a melting pot of people who come and go here in the Valley of the Sun. So listen carefully. Don't play with the Gila monsters. You know what I'm talking about, them big lizard looking things. You're like, hey, I'm going to take that home. I'm going to have a new pet. No, they're poisonous. They'll bite you. In fact, this guy from Colorado grabbed himself a Gila monster and he took it home. He was 34 years old and he got bit by the Gila monster and he died.
Wow.
He died of death and being bit by, a Gila monster. When the name monster is in the name of the pet, there's another giveaway. But still, his girlfriend's like, yeah, well, we got him there from Arizona. And it was actually it was a breeder. And it wasn't a breeder. Some dude's just selling Gila monsters on the side of the road. And, so he's like, I know they're illegal, but I got to have my Gila monster. And so the Gila monster just bit him in the hand. He goes right to the hospital. And very short time later, he died of death. So don't play with the little lizardy things. I'm not talking about the little teeny lizard that you'll find dead in your patio, dried and behind a chair or something. Those aren't what I'm talking about. And if you see some big ass lizard in your, just don't go near it. They have these things called monitor lizards. They've got these dragon lizards. They've got these Gila monsters. Don't play with the Gila monsters.
I had no idea they were poisonous.
Well, yeah. That's why the guy died.
I've never seen one here. So,
I've never run across one either. But I'll to be fair, I don't go places where they go. We don't travel in the same circles. So Ray from Canada says, wait, what's a Gila monster? Sounds like a Marvel villain. Just a big ass lizard, Ray. It's a big ass lizard. That is poisonous. And if it bites you, normally it's just going to hurt, but can also kill you. Fish Tank says, hey, Ralph, I hear you on that whole squatters thing, man. I hear you on that.
Yeah, it's a bad problem. It sucks.
Did you have a problem with squatters?
I know somebody that did. Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, we've all had bad roommates.
But I mean, you get stuck where it could take you a year or two and thousands upon thousands of dollars to get rid of them. They just move in and they have all the rights in the world. It's wrong.
It's crazy because, good people get evicted from their home pretty quick, or if you don't pay your rent or you run into some trouble, they'll toss you out on the street and the sheriff's department has no problem with that. But a squatter comes along and can just occupy a space. Right. You know why? Because bad people know the rules and how to get away with crap. Good people just listen when they're told, get the hell out of here.
This one guy beat it. What he did is waited till the squatters went out shopping and then he broke in.
Yeah.
And he took
read that
over.
story.
And so basically he gained all the rights at that point and they had to leave.
But you got to also be ready to be confrontational at that point. Yeah. It could be dangerous.
It's not a problem.
Fish Tank says, yeah, she bought her house in April and it was bigger and there's no way she's coming here. My mortgage is only about $1,000 a month because I bought it 11 years ago. So we can make a pretty penny off this rent. Plus, if for some reason it doesn't work, I still own a house. Call it a 2024 prenup. Oh, so he's saying if she throws him out, he can just come back.
He's got a place to go. Yeah.
If angelfish becomes a piranha, you get to leave.
That is where it's real dangerous.
Yes.
Angelfish becomes a piranha. That should be the name of that's a book. That's the title of a book.
Yeah, it's about marriage.
Yeah, they all become piranha. Baker's Cocky Hen says, worst thing to come across on the golf course. The following: naked alligator, naked Christy Alley, naked Ally McBeal, I thought you were going to say Monitor Lizard. And by the way, Kirstie Alley, she's dead. Allie McBeal, yeah, she
weighs 7 pounds.
Yeah. You would think she could get hit by a golf ball and you think you'd hit the pin. She's very skinny.
And as far as the alligator being naked, I think a clothed alligator would be weirder and scarier.
I think that'd be charming. Seeing an alligator
But
running out there
I'm
with a
make you
little-
think.
little
You have to
jacket.
think about it. Yeah, like am I running from this? Because on one hand, someone tried to domesticate it, but were they successful?
Or just
because if you just have
on
a
an
random clothed alligator just on the golf course, how did it get there?
I feel like that increases its chances to kill you because you're going to pause. And you're like,
Yeah,
what am I seeing?
That's scarier to me, just as a concept.
I would take a selfie.
Well, you'd be the first dead. I'd be driving
Yeah.
away, leaving
His
you.
mouth is open behind me as it clicks.
You see Jeffrey in the distance going up the hill in the cart.
Ralph.
Sorry, Ralph. Swave Dave says, when you were talking about that KFC chicken pizza, you made me think that it should be chicken pepperoni parmesan sandwich. Yes, that's kind of what I was.
I mean, that's
thinking
basically
of.
what it is,
I
minus the
feel like I
bread.
could just go get a better one somewhere
If
else.
you just add bread to it, but yeah, I mean, it's coming from KFC. It can't be great.
Heavy Metal Maniac says, new scam alert. Okay. Thieves steal Florida woman's entire driveway. That's not a new scam alert. That's just some Florida crap, and that happens all the time. So don't act like that's special in Florida. That's Tuesday in Florida, you know?
Yeah.
Raven Kid says, oh, those Gila monsters are so cool. Nice knowing you, Raven Kid. He says, I always tell people, go pet those. Yeah, I see. Last Optimist says, I saw a video today of a 12-foot rattlesnake going down a Florida golf course, just doing that little sidewinder thing, just going down the hill.
So
that's a fast green right there, isn't it?
The dinosaurs that live in that state that no one should go to is the part that always terrifies me is just how casually these monsters just roll around everywhere. You'll see the biggest alligator you have ever seen in your life, like straight out of Jurassic Park. And he's just moseying on the golf course. He's not mad, just having a good time, just like you. But you're not an alligator, so you can't afford to have a good time near him. The snakes too. It's too much.
Have you been to Florida?
Many times,
Have you,
unfortunately.
Jeff? The hotels have a sign at the door. It says basically, "Do not go outside."
Right.
Because if you go out there, you may get killed.
Yeah.
The alligators come like cozy right up to the front door of the place, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I will never go to Florida and I will never go to Australia. There are too many things in those places that actively want to kill you. And I'm not interested in having my head on a swivel all 24 hours of a day.
There is so much wrong with Florida.
There's a lot wrong. Like, you see, like the Middle East. I think it's the Middle East where they're golfing and there's a cobra on the course.
Oh my god,
that's where I draw the line because those things are fast.
There's certain places we're not meant to live.
by the
Florida is like number one. Any place that has flooding like every year. I mean, I get it. Every now and then a flood, you're like, oh, it's 100-year flood. But there's a place, Fargo, in North Dakota, in that area. It's not just for the fun TV show Fargo. It's also a place where every year, oh my gosh, there's a lot of snow. Oh my gosh, there's been flooding, and people are filing insurance claims over and over and over. And you're like, move! If it floods like this every time, move!
Why are you selling insurance?
You didn't, yeah, who's
that
enabling
idiot?
these idiots? And then,
well, if you're selling the-
Tornado Alley. What are you? Eventually, you're gonna get. I saw a twister. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna live in the places where there's the tornado. So I don't want to where it be. California's out. Mudslides,
Fires.
brush fires, race riots,
Gavin Newsom.
earthquakes.
I was gonna say Hollywood. I mean, there's
Wow.
so much crap that I just like too much. It's and then so I don't want to live near the caldera that is Yosemite. It'll blow up. And I mean, that's probably better though, going
pretty, though.
immediately than the rest of us who will starve to death. But whatever. And I don't want to. I mean, New York City is a fun place to go do stand up. It's a fun place to go to visit, and then you get the hell out of there. Outside of that, I don't want to live in New York City anymore, and I want to live in Florida. then the earthquakes that's another thing for California. Texas, I don't.
My aunt lives in Florida too, and
I don't
it's
understand
just
the people in Texas.
hurricane season every year, and I'm like,
yeah, good point.
You're like
Hurricanes.
nailing up the
Mhm.
all of your windows, and I'm like, you do this annually, and at no point did it ever occur to you that you didn't have to live here
Yeah.
anymore. But okay,
And
see you next hurricane season.
I'm not going to live in Maine because I get too uncomfortable around too many white people. That is just really too much for me.
Why? You blend in.
No, I mean, I just listen. It just, it just makes me uncomfortable.
I mean, you're white.
There's
Like
I
really
know, but it's
like
just
really
still.
white. You're Casper White.
I get that. I get the translucence of this, but I don't feel comfortable with that. So I like food that tastes good, but so there's all sorts of places that I don't want to go, and I can't believe I'm about to say this. Arizona seems like one of the safer places. Maybe not in.
I feel like it's changing.
Just move north a little bit so you don't overbake. Maybe you get to Payson or Prescott or Pine Top or something, not too far north, but just north enough to where it's not 130 degrees every day. Because there's nothing happens here except for the heat, right? Occasionally a haboob.
Yeah, monsoons, haboobs, but now shootings are getting more prevalent here, unfortunately.
No, that's what I'm saying. We get to go north a bit. Go north a bit, and then feels like a pretty good place to hide.
It reminds me of LA like 25 years ago. That's what it kind of reminds me of. And then all of a sudden, it just started going downhill. I hope that doesn't happen here. But
somebody mentioned you're like, too many Californians, Ralph. Aren't you from California?
I am, but I'm.
Yeah,
not
you're right.
I'm
Too many
not a bad
Californians.
one. I'm a good one.
And also, Ralph's not part of the new wave, right? Like
No, I'm not. I'm the old
because it's in waves, and yeah,
This wave.
Ralph's the OG.
There's no more swell in my wave.
State Street Brat says too many white people. No, I like a mix around me. I feel more comfortable that way.
Go to Texas.
Yeah. Kiss the Cook says, so Jeffrey, was your nickname Powder when you were young? Thank God that movie did not come out till later, because no, I've got a little more tone to me now than I did then. Wow. I am not making this up. When I was in elementary school. Oh, this is tan compared.
Wow.
Okay? This is
you got beat
Irish.
up a lot, I bet.
No, this is a absolute 100% true story. When I was a little kid, going to elementary school in Oregon. Now, keep in mind, that's Oregon, where everybody's pale, right?
Yeah, true.
They kept sending me to the nurse because they thought, oh my God, this kid is about to die. He's so pale.
He's got no blood.
That is how much paler I was than everyone else that was extremely pale in Oregon.
That's
so
horrible.
Yeah. So this right here, this is me feeling like finally got a little skin color. All right. But no, I know it. I know. I am.
Did you get beat up a lot?
No.
No.
Why would I get beat up? I wasn't like a jerk. I was just
because you were really white.
Yes. So was everybody else. I just was just a tad more. I looked sickly. Everybody was. I felt like they were about to do a fundraiser for me about.
You were
every
the
other
special
week.
kid. I get it. Okay.
Kiss the Cook says, thank you for that. Cardinal Art says, Ralph, pause. You're not from LA. You're from the Valley.
Actually,
Other than that, I agree with Jeff Goat. And by the way, I'm black.
I was born in Hollywood, so I have that. But
Cardinal
yes,
Art, we never knew that about you. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry, go ahead.
That he's black?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Because you don't see color.
Well, not on the text line.
It's simply not possible.
We're certainly not going to put like parentheses and identify people in that way.
From now on, you must say your gender and color.
All right, so Cardinal Art, who's black,
who's a male black man who identifies as a woman.
Cardinal Art, though, is the one who I've got the middle finger emoji next to his name.
Oh, geez.
So he wanted that there, so every time I saw his text, he could flip me off.
That's funny.
Just to save him the extra,
good.
typing of finding it and texting it every day.
I mean, it was kind of my idea, so he would stop sending that same text all the time. Last Optimist says, looked into what it would take. Oh, by the way, Cardinal Art says, suck it, Ralph, and gave you one of these.
Wow. Thank you.
He said, I looked into what it would take to get a small boat, a bang stick, gator tags, but my wife is firmly against my trying to hunt and kill one.
Probably a good idea.
I don't think you get tags for that. I feel like, you could probably go to Florida and get away with an awful lot. Hamilton Porter says, speaking of Tornado Alley, did you know they're trying to make a sequel to Twister? Yeah, I've seen some of the clips from that, and I'm just like, we've already seen that. We already saw Paxton and Hunt and other people make that movie. Cary Elwes, the guy from Princess Bride, was like the biggest jerk in that. I remember when he got killed in that. It was amazing. That was an awesome movie for 1993 or 4.
Leave it alone. It was too good.
Yeah, same thing with Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Stop making new Willy Wonkas. Gene Wilder did a fine job. Leave it at that.
Yep.
Leave it at that. Navy Brad says, if you visit Australia, I won't. Because that's like a 14, 16-hour flight.
Yeah.
Hell no. That's the only reason I won't go.
No, I all of the animals that live there are the reason that I won't go.
He says, remember the scene where the kangaroo is armed. What scene? What are you talking about? Beer Bob says, so Jeffrey, please clarify what too comfortable when you're around too many white people means. Well, I know, just feel like there's going to be a yeehaw any moment, and it just makes me uncomfortable. I feel like there's too many white people hanging around. A meeting is about to start, and this is not going to be good. I don't know.
It depends on what kind of white people. Are we talking Biff? Are we talking Jughead? What are we talking?
I don't know. I don't want to hang around.
Do they have a Civil War flag on their car? I mean,
I don't want to find out.
A sweater over their shoulder? Who are they?
Yeah.
It just depends.
All the above, really. Do you just describe all these people I don't want to hang around?
Like, wow, that's.
Why do you have a sweater tied around your neck? Are you too dumb to put it on properly? You haven't quite figured out the physics of putting the sweater on? Oh, I hate when I see people with a sweater tied around their neck.
Well, no, because you know that person essentially doesn't have a job and lives in 2 places: their house and the country club, and that's it. That's all that they got going.
Exactly. Bingo.
Hey, trust fund. Put the sweater on or leave it in the car. You look like an idiot. Last Optimist says Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka works because he really believed he was going to watch them kids die. Oh yeah.
Great
we have a bigger problem with all that human trafficking he did with those Oompa Loompas. That is a bigger part of the story.
I was okay with it.
Yeah. No, he
gave him a better life.
That was straight up slavery, man.
He gave him a better life. It was free rent. And all the chocolate they can eat.
Yeah, but now he's giving them diabetes and just slavery, man.
It happens.
Bunch of little orange dudes making chocolate. I don't know if that's a better life.
When I was a kid, they had the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory book in our library, and the drawings of the Oompa Loompas are scary. Racist.
Well, in the original writing, they were pygmies from Africa. It was later on when people were like, "What the hell?" He was like, "They're orange."
I saw the movie as a kid, but then when I read the book, I was like, "Oh, why is this in our school?" Mm-hmm. It was like in elementary school. It was just
so basically, Willy Wonka went to Africa, grabbed a bunch of pygmies, brought them there, kept them locked up in the factory, only ever fed them chocolate. They're like, maybe I could have a. Could I have a carrot? No, you'll have chocolate.
You'll have chocolate. Like a sandwich.
That's actually, if you go back and read that, that's a dark story.
Yeah.
In fact, the heroes aren't heroes. Grandpa Joe is a son of a bitch, lying in that bed all that time like that.
Well, honestly, seriously, because he was in the bed and he wasn't doing anything, and then the very instant there's a chance to leave and do something fun, all of a sudden you can get up and move. You could have worked this whole time. We got a ticket.
Yeah.
How did we get a ticket?
His wife is lying there like, this is why I'm cheating on you with this guy here. This is
movie's so weird if you talk about it at all.
But in the movie, didn't they say he rescued them from Oompa Loompa land?
Well, there were some critters
because they were slaves somewhere else, and he rescued them. That's how
they weren't slaves. They were just getting eaten by some
something was bad, but he rescued
animals.
I didn't realize the book was that. That's kind of scary, but
still, it's still like he rescued them. But then it's like, I can get
violating so many labor laws,
get you a place to live, and I can pay you to work for me, as opposed to you live in this factory and no, you can't leave.
But you get to torture little
That's
white
like
kids,
saying,
so
hey, wasn't life just better on the plantations? See what I'm saying? Still,
no,
it's,
that's
it's
kind of
wrong.
That's a little
It-
different.
well,
Come on, think about that.
I
That
don't
was
know.
pretty bad.
I don't know. All right, listen. I didn't mean for us to go.
We're all over
I don't
the
know
place.
what the hell just happened.
This feels like a Friday show, and
Yeah, it
I
does.
cannot believe it's Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, once the Super Bowl's over, this is bound to happen more often.
That's true.
This is going to be a spring and summer. That'll probably be
without,
like that.
Without football to keep us disciplined, we really just can't focus on anything.
I am ready to talk some football. We come back. I will catch up on the text line, but we're going to get right to it. We're going to talk some football. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. If Keon pushes the button.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Second half of the NBA season set to start on Thursday night. The Boston Celtics, who have the best record in the NBA, are the betting favorites to win the NBA title. Plus 230 on the money line, while the Denver Nuggets are plus 440 to repeat as champions. The LA Clippers, who are coming on strong and are top of the Pacific Division, are plus 500 to claim the Larry O'Brien Trophy. While the Milwaukee Bucks, 3-7 under new head coach Doc Rivers, are plus 650. The Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradley Beal are plus 1,400 to win the title, while the New York Knicks are plus 2,000 to claim the championship. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
My tummy hurts. And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words. I feel better. Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, Jeffrey O'Brien here. And listen, Phoenix has had over 53 days of 110 degree plus this summer. This last July alone, we had 30 consecutive days of 110 plus. And this summer heat might just be the new normal for summers here in Arizona. What you need to do is call Harmon Solar today. Harmon Solar could save you over 80% off your electric bills. They're a locally owned, family-owned company. Call Harmon Solar for a free estimate. 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189 or go to harmonsolar.com.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 6 to 8 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelch and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's BABBEL.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Hi, I'm Ralph Romano.
And I'm Neil Lynch.
We've been friends for over 30 years. And
Wait. It's been over 30 years?
Yep, you are that old.
Well, at least you have one friend.
Anyway, we have a show called The Weekend Warriors, Saturdays at 10 a.m.
We'll discuss national and local sports, and we'll talk about some sports that you don't hear about much.
We'll also interview local athletes, coaches, and sports-related business owners to share their stories with you.
We look forward to sharing these great stories and hanging out with you.
It's The Weekend Warriors every Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
It's Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. That's not fair, Beer Bob. Beer Bob says, Jeffrey talking about how life it was better on the plantation and yelling at Keon to push a button. Okay, first off, I said it wasn't better. I said it was the same as what Willy Wonka was doing to them poor Oompa Loompas. And yeah, that probably wasn't a good look.
Beer Bob has a point.
Yeah, no, it's not the same thing at all. Right, Keon?
Unrelated.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Oh, you had it, Keon. You had the power and you let it go.
Yeah, Ralph was just like, watch this.
You could have totally wrote that one, but okay.
Cardinal Art says, who was the better pimp, Willy Wonka or Grandpa? I go with Grandpa's scandalous ass. I wish he would have had bed sores so he couldn't go to that chocolate factory.
There's no way he had bed stores because this guy was up. I guarantee you, he was the one person that could get out of that bed. He wasn't stuck there.
Can I tell you what the deal was there? It's not about pimp or not. It's about Willy Wonka as a capitalist and Grandpa's a damn socialist. He just sat there and he lived off of the work of somebody else and, let everybody else take care of him. Willy Wonka was out there making money on the backs of the little guy. So that's,
a lot of hate.
There's no hate.
I always look at
I'm
that
calling
guy.
out both sides.
I always look at the actor. I think that's the same actor from Chico and the Man. Do you remember that?
It is. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, I mean that's probably something no one's heard. Keon has no idea what we're talking about.
Well, because Freddie Prinze's Jr., his dad killed himself after the first season, so there wasn't.
That's right.
There wasn't any more after that.
That's right. It wasn't just the man.
Swave Dave says, "Oops." Okay. He also says, "I just got to Walgreens." All right, good to know. Good to know. Last Optimist says, NFL quarterback news. Dude, you really think I need you to tell me the news? Just because we haven't talked about it at all today doesn't mean I don't have it. But thank you for trying to help. But I do have that in the stack. In fact, there's more to. All right, I'll tell you what Last Optimist said. He's like, Justin Fields, stop following the Bears on social. We talked about that yesterday, man. But here's what just came up. Justin Fields is like, man, I don't even care. I just want this to be over with.
Where's he going?
He says, doesn't know. He says, just business. Well, because he knows they're going to go ahead and go get them some Caleb Williams. By the way, Caleb Williams did officially enter the draft, but he's done so without an agent. I don't know if that was the best idea for him. Well, why would he do that?
Because of his dad.
His dad's an agent?
No, I think his dad's not all there, and he's kind of, forcing him to do something. I think a lot of the garbage you hear about Caleb Williams is from his dad. I just think there's an issue there.
Okay, good to know. Well, whatever the case, Justin Fields knows Caleb Williams is coming and he is going. He's like, I wanted to stay with the Bears, but that's just business.
Yeah,
but that's where he is with this. He's just, I just want it to be over. I'm tired of hearing all the talk. It's either keep me or draft Caleb Williams. Just let me know what's happening.
I'm hearing the rumors that I heard were the Steelers, right? I don't know if anyone heard that one.
I did hear that one.
And I heard the Seahawks, which really scares me. There was one other one. Was it?
I mean,
he's
been stuck with Atlanta for like a lot of people still think Atlanta. Yeah, but the Steelers one, and like it kind of works because the Steelers hired Arthur Smith, and Arthur likes to run the ball. So if you want to build an offense around what Justin does best, if you start with the run, you've got Najee Harris back there to help. You could have something.
Weren't they targeting Tannehill though? I had heard that too.
I heard that too. I think that they've got options and they're kind of just exploring all of them. I don't know why you would go with Tannehill at this point.
I don't either.
Just the age and the way he looked last year, he looked like he was done.
Yeah, I think he is done. Kenry from Jamaica says, I can't hold back anymore. Tell Ralph he's doing more harm to Solar than good with his podcast.
Oh my God.
You're not even the first person to make your own joke today, Kenry.
And it's still not good. Hamilton Porter says, so Ralph, Caleb Williams' dad is basically Lamar Ball then?
Yeah, that's the name that I was thinking of. That's exactly that's the rumor that I heard. How true it is, I don't know, but that's kind of what's been coming out.
Last Optimist says if he does not have an agent, he can go back to college if the wrong team drafts him. Really? Is that a rule?
I don't think he can.
Once you've declared for the draft, I don't think that's true. No. You can do something else though, but you can't go back.
I wouldn't be surprised with all the things that they're letting these kids do now. And I mean, you know what? I'm just going to say this. When we talked to the wrestler yesterday, He talked about NIL and transfer portal. Oh my gosh, the things that are going on are just stupid. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's the wild, wild west right now.
It's unbelievable what these kids are. How can anybody look back at Reggie Bush now and say, "Oh, we took your Heisman"? This
Give him his Heisman back.
They need to give it back to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the idea that because what did Reggie Bush do? He drove around a car. He didn't even get to have the car. He just drove the car.
Cars are being offered now.
And I remember because I had a friend who's a reporter. He covers the Tennessee Volunteers, and he was talking to Alvin Kamara before the NIL rules kicked in and all of that. And when you're out with a reporter or whatever, they can buy you lunch. You're allowed to do that. But Alvin wasn't sure about those rules and refused to eat a sandwich that they were supposed to just talk over lunch. He didn't want to violate any NCAA rules. Smart. So, but the idea that guys had to do that forever, and now we've just sort of opened this thing up to
it's the Wild West. You're right.
Floodgates are open.
Yeah.
Swave Dave says, hey, by the way, if you see an alligator with clothing, you need to stop and think, what happened to the person that he got the clothing from?
That's exactly my first thought.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, I just think maybe he's got good credit, although I think it is kind of sick that an alligator's wearing clothing with an alligator belt. That just seems wrong.
How did he get on?
Maybe he's a particularly uncaring alligator. You have no idea.
No, I mean, that's the thing. When the alligator goes in there and he gets the tailor, and they put once the clothes are on, they're not coming off again. You can't.
He can't reach them.
He can't work a washing machine or unless he goes into the dry cleaner and they take it off of him for him and take care of it. There's a lot of logistics in alligator wearing clothing that I don't feel prepared to get into right now. I'm trying to get caught up, and all I'm doing is getting more behind here on the text line.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sure.
Manitoban Moose says, imagine Fargo, North Dakota on steroids. That'd be Winnipeg, where I'm from. Good to know, Manitoban Moose. Swazman says, Jeffrey, remember, I work with animals and I walk dogs and other jobs like that. Don't ever underestimate the animals. A flea could kill you. Okay? I feel pretty good about fighting a flea.
The problem with the flea is if it's carrying a disease and you don't know, you lose already.
I don't understand your comparison, though, Swazman. He says, a flea could kill you. Remember, Siegfried and Roy, one of the guys was mauled by the tiger he worked with, and he was an expert.
It's like I do the flea.
I don't understand, the connections of the flea and Siegfried and 2/3 of Roy. I don't know where those. That's all that was left of him. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. That tiger, he got his.
Yeah, he did.
Navy Brad says, I was talking about the movie Crocodile Dundee. Moist One says, what happened to the juicy, boneless pork chops? What the hell are Oily Stool says, I've got an unpopular opinion. Well, by all means, share. Willy Wonka is an overrated movie. Which one? The first one was great. The second one with Johnny Depp was just basically he was channeling Michael Jackson, and it was really damn creepy. I don't know about this Timothy Shamalama Ding Dong guy and his thing. I ain't watching that.
You're not watching that one. And the Johnny Depp one isn't overrated because I think we all agree it's bad.
Yeah.
It's very accurately rated in that it's horrible.
Kiss the Cook says, I always thought Grandma Georgina hummed because she didn't know the words. Comes to find out, she had a battery-operated boyfriend.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah, I feel like everyone in the bed would know.
Took it to the next level.
Just
I wonder Charlie never went home.
The other lady, she's like, pass that over here. Haruto says, wait, what? Christy Alley is dead? That means I'll be voting for the person I want to see naked. What are you? This show is, I thought I was going to get it back at the top of the hour.
Nope.
Heavy Metal Maniac says, why is Ralph permitted to wear Dodgers? Dodgers lost in the playoffs last year. He shouldn't be permitted to wear that. Can't wear the jersey or the hat or whatever he's wearing in the studio. Well, he's in his own studio. Right. And I'm not going to tell people what they can and can't wear.
And also, I can't really talk. I'm wearing a Commander's shirt, so.
Well, no, listen. Here's what it is. We all.
I just love my team, but
if you see Keon in a Commander's shirt, you're like, oh, there's a long-suffering guy. You see me in a Colts shirt, you're like, wow, his fortunes, they've gone up and down. But listen, Ralph and his Dodger stuff, let me just say this. In the future, when you have people going back through archives, they need to be able to very quickly identify who the a-hole is. So I'm gonna let him wear his Dodger stuff.
I was wondering where you were going
I
with that.
was really curious too. You went there though. Boom.
Hey, Berg's on the text line.
What's
Berg
up,
says,
Berg?
afternoon, guys, late to the party. What's this, alligator talk? No, we're really trying to be done with the alligator stuff.
We've tried, but also we haven't been good at it. So here we are.
Hamilton Porter says, didn't someone just buy their mom a house with NIL money? Good for them.
Probably.
Good for them if they did.
I mean, some of these people, especially the women, have been making a ton of money on social media with the NIL stuff, like just the Instagram sponsorships and all of that. Like, it's crazy money.
Baker's Cocky Hen says, haven't heard much from Niner Lapalus in a while. Yeah, I can't imagine why. Mr. Pink Eye says, can we get a weather report? No. Lois one says, I am so jealous of Ohtani, being a Dodger. Okay, well, let's see if that holds true. He'll be a designated hitter, and then we'll see in about a year if he's going to ever be a pitcher again. Heavy Metal Maniac says, that's a fantastic response. I sure hope he wears it all the time. Hamilton Porter says, can we acknowledge the greatest Mel Brooks movie featuring Gene Wilder? It'd be Blazing Saddles. Best performance of his career. I don't know if it's the best performance of his career.
Great,
but
it's great. Yeah,
funny.
If they ever remade it, it would just be the credits.
Just yeah. They could never
They
make
could
that
never make that movie again.
Richard Pryor
I disagree.
had a giant.
You think
hand
they
in
could
writing
make that movie? Really?
Yeah, ultimately,
Quentin Tarantino's the only one who could direct it with all the N-words in it. And they use the N-word liberally through the entire thing. It was written by Richard Pryor, but at the time it was satire based to sort of call out the racism of things. So the people who were racist use those words.
Sure.
Zero chance you're going to get that made now.
I mean, I've watched movies like granted, they're all the movies where this happens. They're all movies like based around slavery, but you tell the accurate story of the people who would use those words have used those words. Like I've heard it in all kinds of movies recently.
Well, Quentin Tarantino movies specifically.
Not just Tarantino though.
Really?
Yeah.
I think my favorite line in that movie is "Where's the white women?"
Where are all the white women at?
Where are the white women at? Yeah.
That was just phenomenal.
The perfect delivery.
That movie was
that
so well written; it was ridiculous.
Yeah. And they got the exact right guy, Cleavon Little. They got
he was
Gene
great.
Wilder and Mel Brooks. Mel Brooks doing his Mel Brooks thing. I
like because the Departed takes place in Boston, and like one of the first lines in the movie, Jack Nicholson drops the N-word.
Ooh, I haven't seen that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it stood out to me, I guess, but just like it's like 5 minutes into the movie, I was like, wow,
Keon,
okay.
I didn't say I didn't notice it. I said I haven't seen the movie.
I'm saying. No, Ralph said he didn't notice.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't talking to you about that. I was saying
Ralph didn't notice.
I didn't.
Yeah, I'm just saying it stood out to me, even though I've only seen the movie twice.
No, George, we didn't say that they used the N-word in the original Willy Wonka movie. Please try to keep up.
Blazing
This is why we are getting nowhere very fast.
Berg says, just throwing this out there. 6.5 months till the Premier League and red carpet welcome back for Keon. That's right. Red carpet welcome back for Keon, and Rosalie Michaels gets thrown out the back door. Can't believe that's happened.
Bye-bye.
Moist one says, oh no, Ohtani's going to pitch again. They got Tommy John surgeries down to a T. Shoulders are now the career killers. Hamilton Porter says, okay with language, Blazing Saddles versus Django. I don't know. I haven't seen Django.
I don't know.
I think I saw the
Django,
ending and I thought, I got to go back and look at that.
Django broke records for how many swear words were in that movie. So I don't know if anything is going to beat Django.
Swave Dave says, I've been rewatching the TV series Alias with Jennifer Gardner, and Quentin Tarantino has a big role as a villain in season 1. Anyone know if he's ever acted in other stuff? I'll say this. Nobody's ever asked that question.
You mean other stuff that he didn't direct?
I'd say check his IMDb.
Put himself in it?
He's done other stuff.
Yeah, he put himself in stuff, but I don't think anybody's like calling up Quentin Tarantino looking for that face to act.
No.
Cardinal Art says Stir Crazier was funny. Scenes of that movie were filmed in Florence State Prison, by the way.
That was a funny movie too.
All right, people. I guess that's. I mean, I have this giant stack of NFL that we were going to talk about. I guess it'll have to happen tomorrow or
most
something.
of the show talking. We spent more of the show talking about alligators than we did talking about football, which is incredible.
You know, I mean, I kind of try to steer it, but once the super fans of the Fourth Dimension take over, you steer it into the story.
It's the reason why they're the fourth co-host. The voice, they have a very strong voice.
Wait a minute, is that true? Baker's Cocky Hen says Ohtani didn't have Tommy John this time. Huh?
Yeah, I forget what the surgery was, but it's a different surgery, but it's a less drastic version of it.
Did he have Jimmy John surgery?
It's not quite.
It was Jimmy John, yes.
Jimmy John surgery. Yeah, it wasn't quite a Tommy John surgery, and then a lot of rehab. So it just they're hoping that because they didn't have to go in there, and do anything, that he'll actually be able to recover, and you won't have to worry about any of the risks.
They did say today that his goal is 50 at bats in the spring, and he is on target to be ready for the season opener.
Well, listen, I don't care for the Dodgers, but I'm all for Ohtani doing his Ohtani thing. It's good for baseball. Moist One says Quentin Tarantino fills the role of any guy with a foot fetish in his movies.
Jeez. But
Hamilton Porter says, yeah, have you seen Ohtani's scar? It's gnarly. And by the way, Swave Dave, Tarantino was in From Dusk Till Dawn featuring George Clooney, the vampire killer. Yeah, I never saw that movie. Never saw that movie.
I didn't see that one either.
Somebody can tell me if it's good or not, but I've never seen it. Kiss the Cook says Ralph wouldn't notice it. That's why he's wearing a Dodgers outfit. Oh, he's talking about the.
So the most liberal city.
I don't know that exactly makes the point there. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be backwards.
I'll allow it. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got On This Date in Big George's sports history, I think. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
The Valley of the Sun will roar to life this spring.
This ought to get pretty wild here.
Why is that, you may ask? Because NASCAR is coming to Phoenix, and it's going to be a weekend of good vibes the whole family won't forget. The best-in-class fan experience meets racing's toughest drivers for 3 days of action on and off the track, all surrounded by the beautiful Estrella Mountains. NASCAR weekend at Phoenix Raceway, March 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're starting to speak another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
It's incredible. After using Babbel, I'm ready to start having real conversations in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Babbel. Language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Start learning a language today at Babbel.com.
Life is full of bright moments, but sometimes those moments can seem too far away. Trained and caring crisis specialists in Arizona can assist you with any situation, big or small. Free and confidential help is only one text away, day or night. Text the word HOPE to 4HOPE. That's HOPE to 44673. These moments matter, and so do you. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
So, what's your favorite thing about sports? The excitement, the action, or the 5-meat pizza and the six-pack? Bingo. That's what we thought. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Today, the Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. Gee, Merry Christmas, this text line. I don't know. This is where you make a decision, right? Where you just ignore it all, or you just keep going with it. I guess. This is such a temptation. I can't help but look. You know, it's like looking at a car accident. Some you're like, you gotta look. So I guess I'm going to do this. Swave Dave says, I'm hearing dark horse comments about the Cardinals coach being coach of the year and comparing them to Detroit Lions for next year's playoff picture. Thoughts? That's all a bunch of silliness. You mean Gannon to be coach of the year next year? Well, how would you even?
Yeah,
that's just, there's no point in that.
Unless you're just talking about betting odds. In that case, that's still crazy. And like, I think Jonathan Gannon's doing a good job so far. But what made the Lions wasn't just Dan Campbell, but what Brad Holmes did as GM, putting that team together. And so we'll see whether or not the Cardinals can make a turnaround similarly is going to be, what does Monty Austinfort do, in free agency and in the draft?
Let's talk about this after the draft.
They have too many needs right now to make that dramatic of a turnaround.
Yeah, you can't tell because you're too close to it. It's a rebuild. It is absolutely a rebuild, but they're hanging on to something they've paid way too much for, and that's called Kyler Murray.
Yep.
Everything else is just this is looking to be a brand new team here pretty soon. Will it be good or bad? I don't know. Cardinal Art says, "Hey, John Money Menzel." He says, if I spelled that right, you didn't, but that's all right. I couldn't do it either. He opened up about how Ralph's man crush, LeBron James, helped him through his downfall. I could care less about what Johnny Manziel said or what he went through. I just, my God, can we be done with that? Can we be done with the Johnny Manziel? So is he just looking for attention? So occasionally he just talks to somebody?
Well, no, I think I don't know. There was a documentary about just how everything fell apart for him. Because I mean, when he was in college,
I'm going to stop you. I'm sorry. I really am sorry. But you weren't here, Keon, and this might be before Ralph's time. We declared this a Johnny Manziel free zone a lot of years ago, and I just remembered that. I'm not saying that to stop you from saying what you were going to say. I'm saying it's the law. We did say we're never talking about Johnny Manziel again.
Okay, that's fair.
Now that I've remembered that, I must enforce
it. Okay, all I was saying was that's the reason why it was pretty recent, and so people have been putting microphones in his face.
Yeah, I don't want to hear him. I just want to move on with my life, And now I think we're done with the Kaepernick thing. Done there. We're done with Manziel. We need to be done with Mitch Trubisky. I thought we were done with Baker Mayfield, but now I think he's probably going to end up being somewhere.
I mean, Trubisky's going to be a backup for life. I mean,
everybody's looking at Baker Mayfield. They're like, not it. Nobody wants it, but somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to get it. There's a bunch of free agent quarterbacks that are about to be available if they're not already. I'm going to give you the list. Now, if your team needs a quarterback, Ralph, yours does.
Not really.
Kind of.
No, we need to draft a quarterback. We have a quarterback.
Keon, you need one.
We need to draft one too.
You
got the second pick in the draft. None of these free agents are going to move.
My Colts might need one because, Gardner might go someplace else for a backup. But here's the list. Kirk Cousins, Baker Mayfield, Ryan Tannehill, Gardner Minshew, Tyrod Taylor, Sam Darnold, Jacoby Brissett, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco, Tyler Huntley, Carson Wentz, Josh Dobbs, Mason Rudolph, Eason Stick. And those guys are free agents. Mitch Trubisky, he's available right now. Jimmy Garoppolo, Russell Wilson, Zach Wilson, probably going to get released, more than likely going to get released. And of course, Mac Jones will be available. Nobody cares. And then, of course, Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heineke probably going to end up being available. The Falcons probably going to hang on to those guys. So, did you hear a name you were interested in?
I think there's only one in there that would make sense for somebody, and that's Russell Wilson.
You don't think Kirk Cousins for somebody?
Maybe
he's not going to take you the promised
land. I
but-
guess that's fair. That's fair. Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson. I think they could both have an impact somewhere, a good impact somewhere.
The rest is just a giant list of backups.
I think the Commanders should get Russell Wilson.
I think I don't think so, just because of the years he has left.
I think you take him and you put somebody young under him and just work.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so if they draft Drake May or Jaden Daniels, or whoever they're going to take,
right,
and they had Russ and just said, "Hey, you're not playing," probably Jaden because the play styles match up a little better.
Yeah,
then you're not playing until and we'll just roll with Russ until we think you're ready. Look, it worked out for Jordan Love so far, so we'll see. I mean, I could see that. I just think Russ is going to cost more money, and I think that the team has a bunch of other needs.
Well, not next year, he won't.
I mean, not a ton, but
because the Broncos have to pick up like $30 million of his salary.
But if you just draft a quarterback and roll with the guys in that room right there with Sam Howell and Drake May, that's the cheapest quarterback room in the NFL, and you could pay for everything else.
Well, hold on. This might change everything. I forgot one. Nick Foles is available.
It changed everything. And I also think Baker can be on some solid team, and if they have pieces and weapons on the team, then Baker will be all right.
He had a good year last year.
Yeah, he's not a game changer. He's not going to elevate a team that doesn't have enough weapons or something like that. That's what an elite quarterback would do. Baker's not that. But if the team already has good players, yeah, Baker's going to go in there and be a good, solid quarterback.
Sun Devil Raul says, "Do you guys dislike Sniff Dingleberry as much as I do?" I'm not really sure what your level of dislike is for Cliff Kingsbury. Maybe
he's my offensive coordinator, so I actually dislike him more than you do.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
I've been trying to talk myself into it for weeks. I can't. There's
no
just the only positive I have found is, well, he's not in charge of the whole team, and that's it. That's the end of the list of pros. Everything else is a con.
Mr. Pink Eye says, I saw Desperado yesterday. Tarantino's in that. Thank you, sir. Swazman says, I'm heading back to Flagstaff on Friday. Going to go snowboarding at Snowball, spring conditions. Anyone else want to go? Major League Baseball is about to start on Friday, too, by the way. We're good, Swazman. Have fun. Tiawa says, why does Ralph continue to bring harm on so many? Okay, you've got to stop people. It's just never worked.
So from now on, when you introduce me, it's Ralph from Weekend Warriors. Let's just do the separation.
Well,
so there'll be no more Harmon jokes.
Well, Harmon Solar's paying for the Harmon Solar part.
It doesn't matter. I'm not here representing that.
So. I could just not read the dumb jokes anymore. I could also do that.
That one too, yeah.
Desert Viking says, after today's show, Jeffrey should probably say some things about Johnny Manziel to avoid being canceled.
Jeez.
What?
Like what?
Canceled in what way? If you mean cancel, either way, I embrace it. If you want to cancel me, like they say, oh, did you hear so-and-so got canceled because they said a thing? Bring it. I dare you to cancel me. And then the other part is, if the show gets canceled, thank you. I could use some time off.
All of the people I've seen be canceled, though, that are rich and successful tend to just continue right on being rich and successful. Like, you can't decide someone's life is over if they just are still there being very rich. They're okay.
You're saying he's rich and successful?
Bring it.
Jeffrey's very rich.
Mick Mama says,
I mean, say successful.
I mean,
well, I am on 1580.
I mean, listen.
Mick Mama says, Ralph, you could have Manziel on your show. He lives in Scottsdale.
You should get that just for you.
You should get him.
I would do that just for you.
Baker's Cocky Hen says the Commandos will be the healthiest team in the league with all that vitamin C they get from Cliff Kingsbury with his orange slices he'll bring to practice.
I mean, at least he's not the head coach, and there are people with fire on that team that aren't him. So there's, again,
I think he had scurvy once, and he just wants to make sure nobody else gets it.
Well, that's true. Look, that's very thoughtful of him then.
Desert Viking says, for the record, I don't want you canceled. In all honesty, I have your back. Okay, cool. Don't know if that helps, but I appreciate it. If I'm going to get canceled, I'm going to get canceled. Cardinal Art says, tell them Jeffco cancel these.
Wow.
Are those peanuts? Oh, cancel these nuts.
Saw that coming.
We better get this going. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1952, the Boston Celtics and the Fort Wayne Pistons tip off at midnight in a Milkman special. Following an Ice Follies performance at the Boston Garden, Bob Cousy of the Celtics scored 24 points in front of 2,368 tired customers in an 88-67 win. Back to me, Jeffrey. That is like the worst idea I've ever heard. The Milkman special. You stay up until after midnight and you watch a basketball game. Who's going to that? That's what they've never done it again. Now you know. What a horrible idea. I mean, make the Ice Follies at midnight. Put the game on earlier.
I know that there are some schools colleges that'll have like a midnight like practice game for the first practice of the season, and then fans from the school will go, but that's about it.
Well, that was interesting. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.